From Castle Rexworth and the Rexworth Estates, I bid you good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever you are, and whenever you are. My name is Rexworth, Lord Rexworth, and I welcome you to our Sunday stream. We're going to be continuing with Community Reacts to a bunch of videos, try and clear out a lot of tabs here. Thank you all for popping in. Angler, welcome in. Also welcome in to everybody else who is lurking in chat on Twitch, on YouTube, on Kick. Thank you all for being here. So, I am in the Castle Rexworth Discord right now. I'm in the Stream VC. If anyone wants to hop in, do feel free. Damien, hello. Greetings, my lord. Have a great stream. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we're just, this will be part 2 of our sort of New Year's celebration here at the castle. And, just sort of relaxing, vibing, enjoying some interesting videos of things from all over the world. Fun things. There's not really much new in terms of news on the Venezuelan front from yesterday. We had that whole thing with the U.S. Delta Force taking Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro into custody. Don't really have anything new on that. I've been noticing something trending on X, videos sneaking out from Tehran. It appears that protests starting to break out again over there. So we shall see what develops from that. Anyways, let's go ahead and get right to it. Let's start with something rather soothing. Ray Idle, thank you for the lurk. So for some people, it's still early morning hours. Have a good stream. Thank you. Thank you so much. For some people, it's early morning hours. For some people, they may sleep in late on the weekends. And their early morning hours is anything before the noon hour. Whatever it might be for you, why don't we experience what it's like. This is about an 12-minute video. This is called A Dream Morning in Japan. 7 a.m. drive in my R32 GTR. That sounds like a lot of fun. Of course, we'll pause the music here. Starting off grabbing some breakfast, maybe some petrol. And look at that car. Not a thing of beauty. Going for an early morning drive in Kyoto for the first time in a while. That looks like a very well taken care of Skyline GTR. I see we got that rear windscreen wiper. The tail lights, they're iconic. Absolutely iconic. Fun fact about Iran: Iran translates to the land of the Aryan, so I wouldn't mind naming it after Iran or Persia. Yeah, I've always thought Persia was a more appropriate name for the country, particularly since a lot of the people there still refer to themselves as Persians. Never really understood the whole renaming it to Iran. That's quite a peaceful day on video, I know. Perfect start to the day. Alright, we've topped up on fuel. Blurting out the speedometer. For good reason, I think. This is a fairly fast car that can probably break the speed limit quite easily. and off we go. Oh, listen to that engine. So this is what it's like to drive on the streets of Kyoto. It's rather nice. You're so used to seeing walkways with crowds of people, especially in Kyoto, where there's been a lot of over-tourism and overcrowding in a lot of places. But this certainly doesn't feel like rush hour. Doesn't feel like peak drive time. It's quite peaceful. I mean, fairly decent volume of traffic from what we can see through the camera. Well, it's really not bad. I've certainly dealt with worse. I think a lot of us have. Ever played some Ryan Gosling music when driving? My driving music of choice. If I'm not playing some classical music, most of the time I'm playing Japanese city pop or some type of, like synthwave. There's a really good channel on YouTube called Retropical Records. And they, I think it's mostly AI-based music, but it's really good synth tracks. They've got a few playlists they put out recently that are a bit more high energy, sort of trying to capture that vibe that you would get from games like Outrun. And I do occasionally listen to some game soundtracks. Driving music for me for a while was a mix of Outrun and Hang On soundtracks. Also makes for decent workout music too. Especially if you're on something like a stationary bicycle or an elliptical machine and you need something with a bit of a high energy beat, but not too high energy. Something that's vibrant, energetic. It's a good mix. Oh hell yeah, I'd play some synthwave too, but also like some game themes like LA Noire. Nice. It's a bit of a rare cut. There's an old game that came out first for the Dreamcast in Europe and then later came on PlayStation 2 called Headhunter. And the theme of the main player character, Jack, is really good. It plays every time you're on the motorcycle stages. It's this really, I don't know how to describe it. It's incredibly thematic before soundtracks in general just became so atmospheric. And it sounds like a proper hero's theme. But it is full orchestra and a little bit of synthesizer in the background. Almost taking the same approach that John Berry did for the soundtrack to The Living Daylights. Just a little bit of synth to give it some rhythm, but the rest of it is pure orchestra. I think the composer's name was Richard Jacques. He also did the Sega Saturn version of Sonic 3D Blast. Oh, that engine's roaring now. 50 kph, not bad. Need up to a good speed on this road. Looks like a dual carriageway of sorts. You also find yourself playing heavy metal or loud music when doing small things, but light music when doing bigger things like driving. I'm really not one for heavy metal. It really kind of depends on my mood. I listen to music to the most part to relax, or sometimes to sort of, I guess, keep myself focused. Lo-fi really helps me to maintain focus. So I occasionally put on some lo-fi and listen to that. Well, now that I think of it, I don't know. Some of the heavier stuff, yeah, I suppose I do listen to it whenever I'm just got downtime or I'm sitting down, not really doing anything. Oh, his rear view mirrors, it's a video display. It's got a built-in camera. That is some high-tech. The engine echoing through the tunnel. Like a kaiju or something streaking through the tunnels. In a little truck. Lord knows that thing's too slow. Go to a higher gear. Pass another body here. Looks like a little K camper when we just passed. Clever bit of kit, those K campers. Alright, there's daylight. Out we come. Sign read Sanjohashi or something like that. In we go to another tunnel. Slowing down. that's the end of it. That was a fun little cruise. That was nice. We'll go ahead and subscribe to Nee. By the way, you want me to gift you some dosh for the Great Rebellion? I'll be able to once I get home in a couple of days, called a late New Year's gift. If you like, Anglo, I'd really appreciate that. All gifts are certainly appreciated, but definitely don't feel like you have to. And as I always say, prioritize yourself first. You know, take care of your normal bills and expenses first before you go giving your money to silly little VTubers like me. But yes, that would be. I would very much appreciate that. That would be very nice. Right. Let's see. Staying on cars here for a bit, chat. This one's from Ren Frames. Exploring Japan as a car enthusiast. That must be our man. Going from continental Europe to Beijing.
Actually, behind us were 3 guys that were talking for 8.5 hours straight.
Good God.
Best of friends. I question when life in the past and I meant those ends where I stayed.
May have to mute this. It's because of the music. Don't want to get a copyright strike. Oh, here we are. Osaka.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, good morning from beautiful Osaka.
Good morning.
Strolling through the streets here. Still a little bit jet lagged, but that's okay. Trying to catch.
By the way, chat. Fun little top tip for you about jet lag. The Die Hard cure actually does work. I tried it myself when I went to Japan for the first time. Got into my hotel room, set my things down. I took my shoes off and my socks, and I started making fists with my toes. And for some reason, that actually perked me up a bit. The bloke on the aeroplane in the first scene in Die Hard tells John McClane, he says, "I can't explain it, but it's better than a hot shower and a coffee." And you know something? I think he was onto this. He's right. I honestly felt better. So next time you're on a long journey, you've got a long plane ride somewhere, and you get to your hotel, just set your things down, sit down on the bed for a few minutes, take your shoes off, take your socks off, and then just make fists with your toes for like 5 minutes. And oddly enough, you will feel better.
Some stuff. You know, I got my Fujifilm.
Oh, man of good taste.
X100 VI with me. So that's the camera you see me capture most of my everyday pics and also story pics.
Fujifilm is a really good camera brand. I used to have an X-T1. It was one of the best cameras I've ever owned. Before that, I had a little Fujifilm point and shoot that I took with me to Beijing. Incredible picture quality. I think the only thing I wish I would have had was a polarized filter on the lens, because the smog, especially in Beijing, made it really hard to shoot good pictures in some spots. And yeah, the X100 series of cameras, that's what's known as a digital rangefinder rather than a DSLR. Certainly not a cheap camera, almost as expensive as some of the DSLRs, but man, it takes some fantastic pictures. So if you want yourself a proper camera, and you're not just wanting to use your camera on your phone, Fujifilm X100. Definitely give it a look. I'd say it's worth every penny.
Because it's the one I have always with me. And yeah, just trying to capture some stuff, not only for rent frames, but also for myself. You know, I always say it's easy to make beautiful and things look beautiful, but I think sometimes it's about trying to find the beauty in just everyday life.
Truly, the artist's struggle.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. And a cool thing about my hotel, I'm staying at Art Hotel Osaka, Bay Area, and my hotel room is in the 48th floor. So once you get out, you have a beautiful view
That is
of
gorgeous.
the city. Amazing. And the room was like 75 euros a night for two people. So
That's
for me
really
and my
not
brother.
bad. That's a good value.
Insane.
Yeah.
Also hotel.
One of the few places where you can, in the world that's still left, that you can find a decent hotel room at a really good price. The airfare can be absolute murder on your wallet, but the hotel rooms, really good quality, really good prices. It's a common theme that we've noticed with a lot of reacts we've done to hotels all over Japan.
The room view is not too bad as well.
That is incredible. That sort of view alone, they could charge hundreds.
Good on that one.
Let me know. Put this money on the
Missing a front bumper on that car. Like a Toyota Celsior, otherwise known as a Lexus LS. A Ferrari, a pretty lady, a Toyota Crown, another Ferrari, see, moving on to Kyoto. Skyline GTR, Mazda 3, Mitsubishi Lanivo, look like a Subaru WRX. And there goes another Ferrari. There's an old Volvo, look at that. Oh, they stopped at a cat cafe. There goes someone with another GTR. Alpine BMW. Old Nissan Fairlady Z.
It's nice walking through Kyoto and doing some cultural stuff. But look what I spotted.
What'd you find? Oh, an old RX-7. Look at that.
So for everybody saying Kyoto is so touristic, there's so much people. There is in the main streets.
Yeah.
You literally go one street to the left or to the right.
And nothing.
No one's here.
Strange how that
peaceful.
works. I noticed much the same when I was in certain parts of Tokyo. First time I was there, I was walking to the old location for the Seiko Museum, and it was just dead silent. There was nobody out there except I think I could count on one hand the amount of people I ran into in the neighborhood of the Seiko Museum. It only started to get loud because of car traffic on one of the main roads. Well, yeah, it was just so quiet, so peaceful. Passed by a school, classes were still in session. A couple of pensioners on the daily walkabouts. It was very serene, very peaceful.
And by the way, today's Saturday, so maybe with Sunday probably the most touristic day, but still.
Maybe. I don't know if that's how that works. One would think Saturday would be the
That's
busier
probably
day.
the real Kyoto.
Oh, look at that classic there.
So apparently the Smart Center in Kyoto has a coffee shop in them, which serves
Oh, interesting.
very good coffee and delicious cookies.
That does look tasty.
That's how it looks. But the coolest thing is they also have
Too
a
bad.
124.
Oh,
500
gorgeous.
Benz AMG package.
Oh, it is in pristine condition. 300 CE24. That is a rare
Fun
find.
fact, here is actually a bakery. They have only 2 places in the whole world. One is in Graz, so where I'm from, and the other one is here in Kyoto. But I thought it's funny, so I went here.
Interesting.
It's even written in Austrian. It's so funny.
Gotta keep it real, you know? Okay, now we're in Tokyo. Yes, you will see some Rolls Royces rolling about. Especially once you get to areas like Ginza.
And we made it to Tokyo last night with the Shinkansen, which is basically the bullet train here in Japan. Yeah, it took
Best
us
way
like
to get
2
round.
hours from Kyoto to Tokyo, so it's crazy fast. I think it will take you 5.5 hours by car or so. So it's more than double as fast.
Oh yeah,
And I'm
save
just
yourself
walking
a
through
lot of time.
Harajuku here, and actually we're right in front of Liberty Walk. Unfortunately, there's no car here today, but I
No,
talked to
no.
him. He said he's gonna be here on Wednesday. I'm not gonna be here on Wednesday though, unfortunately. Anyway, we're gonna look
Right.
inside.
After this time I'll be through.
Oh, look at that. Signed go-kart. Lots of model cars. Oh, that's neat. I like those. Kind of athletic style jackets. Oh, even the bag. Look at that. That's cool. Deus Ex Machina JP. Alright. Decent looking merch. The next day.
Okay, now so while my brother is visiting some Pokemon stores, I'm on my way
But of
to
course,
Peaches. They have a garage here in Japan.
peaches.
And if you can remember from my last video, I mentioned that Fat International, which is an Austrian car culture brand backed by Porsche. They did a collaboration with them
Oh,
a few
interesting.
weeks, a few months ago. It's a
Didn't know they
Korean
existed.
brand, but they have a garage, as I said, here in Japan. And while I'm here in this beautiful city of Tokyo, I thought I might visit them or take a look at the garage, see how they manage stuff. I'm not sure if you can hear me now. The train's passing every 3 seconds.
Getting a bit noisy,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
a busy city. I think it's like close to 40 million people living in the whole
Sounds about right.
residential area, so it's huge. But it doesn't feel overcrowded. Nevertheless, I just thought I'm gonna visit them,
I guess that's
see how they manage stuff, see how they are.
I guess that's the one positive of population decline. Things don't feel overcrowded, except in some of the touristy areas.
Merchandise fits and it's done, and then grab a piece or two.
Yeah, look.
Old Chevy
I didn't
Camaro
gain weight, I
SS.
didn't lost, but I still feel the opposite.
Okay, here we are. Oh, they've got a slot car racing track. Some old CRTs. That's pretty cool. Look like an old 190 Cosworth built out of Lego. By the way, chat, I'm muting here because the music, I just don't I want to avoid a copyright strike. We've already had one copyright strike in the past 24 hours because one of the people that we did a video react to apparently did not like that we were doing a video react, and so leveled a copyright strike, and the whole bloody VOD got taken down. Fucking dipshit.
No, but I didn't.
Oh, the magazines. Japan still knows how to do magazines right.
Ever been to. This is all vintage racing books.
That's incredible. Car graphic.
Look at this. You just pop out like a random magazine. R33 GTR race car.
Mm.
And the car
Gorgeous.
section is crazy. All of this shelf, this shelf over there,
That's all
and here
just
as well.
dedicated to cars.
It's all cars.
Oh, there's a book on Alpha and Mazda.
Insane.
Old Skyline.
So it's called Tsutaya Books.
Tsutaya Books. I've heard of it.
I think I'm gonna link you the address down
I've
below.
heard of
It's a
Tsutaya
huge
Books.
store. So
I've
all
actually
of
shopped
this
in one before.
is combined together, but the car section is right here in the center. And trust me, I left a lot
One
of money
whole
in there
building
right now.
devoted to car books.
Because I
That's
have to bring a
incredible.
few gifts home, of course.
Oh, so this is a to be continued. It's quite the collection of cool cars they got. Old Subis and Mercs and Hondas. Looked like there was some sort of Renault in there too. That's pretty cool. All right, Ren frames. Subscribe to that. I don't know if we're going to be able to do reacts if he always puts in music like that. But I'll go ahead and post the link in chat for everybody to go take a look. Let's see. Oh, this is one that's pretty good.
So
Anyone who's been a follower of the streams for a while now know that I'm quite the collector of watches, and some of my favorites actually happen to come from Japan. And if you are planning a trip to Japan, definitely worth paying a visit to places like the Seiko Museum and doing some shopping at various duty-free outlets. You know, if you're taking a day trip to Mount Fuji, Seiko's got a fantastic boutique at the Gotemba Premium Outlets. But yeah, there's a lot of places. There's also some fantastic micro brands, like Kuoe Kyoto. They make modern versions of these old Smith's watches. They've got a really fantastic one called the Royal Smith. But yeah, there's just so many places to go, so many things to check out when it comes to buying either new or vintage watches. But this is interesting. This is the Ultimate Japan Watch Guide, where to buy vintage and modern watches in Tokyo and Osaka. Let's take a look. 3, 2, 1, go.
So you might have booked that trip to Japan, or maybe you're in Japan right now and you're asking yourself, where do you find the best watch deals in Japan? Well, we at the Japanese
Easier than you think.
have that covered for you. We're going to be doing this videos. We're going to be going over all the best places where you can find the best watch deals.
Okay. This should be interesting.
So for the first segment of the video, we'll go over the cheapest and most affordable way of obtaining.
Okay, we've got flea markets, thrift shops, retail chains, watch hotspots, hidden gems, and last-minute shopping. Okay, this seems like a fairly decent guide that they've built out just from the segments alone.
Watches in Japan. As the video goes on, the prices of these watches will go higher as we head into luxury watch territory. So if you're looking to find Japan domestic watches for very cheap, the flea markets is where you want to go. Now, if you're familiar with our channel, we have been to many flea markets extensively, so I would suggest checking those videos out if you're curious. But let's start off with the biggest flea market in Tokyo, the Tokyo City Flea Market. This flea market is taking place at a parking lot in front of a horse racing course. I know, weird. But this flea market in particular has been making around.
So you Uma Musume fans would be right at home in a place like this.
It's all over the internet, so it has gradually turned into a tourist destination.
I say you Uma Musume fans, I'm also a fan of Uma Musume, so I would be right home here. Oh, that's interesting. Square-dialed Seiko with an integrated bracelet.
But in terms of watches, it is still quite abundant and also very cheap. What I like about the flea market is that you're always able to haggle depending on the person. Sometimes you might get a good deal, but don't push your luck too much. I feel like during these past 2 years,
well, you have to be careful when negotiating with the Japanese. They tend to offer a really fair price up front. And in an atmosphere like this, you can haggle, just don't get too aggressive about it and don't do it too much. Keep your counter offers reasonable. You know, keep it within the ballpark of each other. Don't insult them with any sort of offers, because that's a great way for them to just sort of walk away and you're left with nothing. And who knows, you might even be asked to leave.
Years, the amount of watch sellers have tripled in size, so you'll be guaranteed to find some amazing watches, but just be wary that not all these watches might be in the best condition. I would say if you're picking up a watch or two, be prepared to spend at least $100 to $200. I also want to take the moment to mention
fair price for a nice vintage watch, I suppose.
Japan Samurai Treasures. They have a phenomenal selection of vintage watches. We've partnered with them, and if you use the code JPFactory at checkout or just mention the Japanese factory sent you, you'll get 10% off your order. We also get a kickback from every order, so we will definitely love the support and go check them out. If you're out during the weekend in Tokyo, more often than not, you will find these flea markets popping up here and there. So it's always a good opportunity to dig through and find these watches. Here are other flea markets I would like to mention. The Mottainai Japan Flea Market is another massive flea market that occurs every other weekend in Nakano. And they usually have a pretty good selection of watches.
Yeah, Nakano seems to be the place to go when you're looking for good quality secondhand goods in Tokyo. Oh, look at that Citizen. Oh, Citizen 7-star. It looks like it's got a day-date functionality there too. It's rather well worn, but still looks to be in decent nick.
And another one that we actually went to recently is the Yokohama Arena Flea Market, but that doesn't happen as often as the other flea markets. So if you're short on time and you're only
indoors, it's air
for a few days, I would ignore all the other flea markets and just go to the big city flea market because it is the best one. Definitely go plan a day or two just for that flea market. Trust
me. Interesting. Looks like possible GMT functionality on that one.
It's worth it.
Okay, thrift shops. Wonder if he's going to mention
So the
book
next
off
segment
or hobby
we're
off.
heading into is thrift shops. If you've ever gone thrifting in Japan, you will know that it's no joke. This is
so
where you
much
find
fun,
a lot of
though.
amazing
It's
deals
so
on
much fun.
clothing. But you might be asking yourself, how are the watches? Well, I'll explain. I'll first like to bring up the biggest recycle shop in Japan, and that will be Hard Off, Book Off, Mode Off, and Hobby Off. Yeah, the shop name is a little weird, but it's weird enough to stand out from the rest. These shops are practically everywhere in Japan, so always try to
so much
test
fun
your
to
luck
rummage through.
whenever finding these. Be careful, as not all book offs will carry watches, but from what I have experienced, you can find watches at Hard Off, Book Off Plus or Book Off Bazaar, and Mode Off, which is more catered towards fashion. If you want the best watch selection, try to go to the major stores in Tokyo, or if you have time, try to explore the countryside of Japan, as they carry
make a day
lot
trip
more
out of
hidden
it.
gems. I found many exclusive Japanese watches you won't find anywhere else.
Now these G-Shocks, especially with the whatever coating or treatment that the case and the bracelets have, this is... You definitely do not see these every day. Prices are not bad either. Let's see, 38,000 yen? Let's do a quick currency conversion. Let's see. 30,000 yen, that's just under $200 US, at about 142 pounds. So, and looks like they're taking an additional 30% off. So, if we do 38,000 times 0.3, that's 11,400. So that knocks it down to about 26,600 yen. And that translates into $169 or 126 pounds. But a Casio G-Shock like that, that's pretty damn good. That's a pretty damn good deal. I would jump on one of those. I don't know if I'd go for one of these red numbers here. Might go for the silver, because that's a bit more expensive, 50,000 yen. Well, these prices, they are really not bad.
As for the pricing, not as cheap as things you'll find at the flea market, but the
No, they've
benefit
got
of
rent to
shopping
pay
at a
for.
hard off means that the staff has taken good care of these watches and replaced the battery. It's practically brand new because most Japanese people take good care of their things.
They really
Other
do.
thrift shops that I would like to mention
If
is
you're going to
Second
buy
Street,
something
which is mostly
secondhand, buy it in
fashion-oriented.
Japan.
You'll find a lot more fashion watches, some G-Shocks, and maybe if you're even lucky, some Swiss brands. But Second Street isn't very known for watches. Another thrift shop that is lesser known is the Treasure Factory. This is very similar to Hard Off,
Treasure
but not many
Factory.
shops that are available in the Tokyo area.
Must be a
Still very
smaller
fun to look
outfit.
through. Obviously, even though thrift shops are used items, they are still very pricey in comparison to the flea market. But if you're basing it off of retail prices, what you'll find in the thrift shop
Yeah, 1,900 yen, 3,300 yen.
is a lot more
I mean, those prices, I don't know, you might be able to get a brand new Casio for that much. You might as well, too.
affordable and still in very good condition.
All right, next segment. The retail chains. Okay, so we're probably talking about Yodobashi Camera, Bic Camera, those sorts of places, maybe Don Quixote. Don
Okay, I'll stop. Let's talk
Quixote.
about the big retail chain. Don Quixote, Yodobashi, Big Camera, and
Yeah.
Ideon. These shops are pretty much
Oh, yeah,
the
Ideon, I forgot
staple
about
of
that one.
Japanese retail shops. They literally sell everything and anything, and watches are
They
no
really do.
exception. Let's go through
Anything and everything you can think of in terms of watches, booze, electronics, toys, model kits. There's so many things. It's like the ultimate grown-up toy store.
Don Quixote or Donkey. You'll find plenty of JDM watches like Seiko, Casio, and Citizen at reasonable prices. If you're looking for souvenirs,
bad.
this is a pretty
19,200?
fun shop, though it's not ideal if you want a more relaxed shopping experience.
No, it can be quite hectic in there. That's for a calmer shopping experience. It gets a little bit better going to Bic Camera or Yodobashi or Edion, but that's it. It's crowded and it's very high energy in there.
Depending on which Don Quixote you go to, the watch selection may differ. However, most Donkey should have
This is some nice looking Seiko 5s that they've got. And it looks like a lot of these, you've got like Batman dial, Hulk dial versions. I think I saw, this one looks to be a purple and blue version. I've not seen that before. It must be a limited edition sort. But yeah, you've got Seiko 5s with GMT complications. 48,000 yen. Cutting exchange rates, that's... For a brand new watch, that's not terrible. Especially if you get a GMT complication with it. Yeah. And it's that iconic SKX design. And several of these come with Jubilee bracelets. I mean, that's still incredible value for money.
A pretty decent selection. I recommend the one in Shibuya or Shinjuku. Next, I want to highlight Yodobashi, Big Camera, and Edion. These shops are all very similar in popularity and can be found practically everywhere in Japan, no matter where you are. What's great...
Oh. Those are the... This is a series from Citizen called the Suyosa. Expensive. 43, 46, 50,000 yen. That's I don't know, a bit much for this particular watch. It's a beautiful design. Sort of integrated bracelet, sportier watch. I would wait for the sale, though. I would wait for it to go on sale.
Great about these stores is that they offer member discounts. If you sign up into their app, you can get exclusive coupon codes that you can use towards watches.
Lovely.
10% might not seem like it's a lot, but if you're buying something expensive like a watch, those
Can add up.
coupons can go a long way.
really
You can
add
also
up.
fill up on points on their apps when purchasing watches, which comes in handy for your next watch purchase in the future. We also cannot forget to mention that tourists that travel in Japan get 10% tax-free as well.
Yes.
So definitely try to abuse the system that you are given. As for the best location for Yodobashi, the Yodobashi Shinjuku Watch Pavilion is pretty much where you'll find all the best JDM brands at a very affordable price.
A watch pavilion. It's not just a watch section, they've got an entire pavilion devoted to watches. It's Valhalla, if you are a watch enthusiast.
Edion is a lesser known brand, but their watch world in Akihabara was very surprising, so if you're ever in Akihabara, go check that out. If you're looking for modern watches
It's
from
like a
Japanese
fancy watch
brands,
boutique.
these are all good places to go, as they have a lot better deals brand new than some of the boutiques that will come up later in the video. So before we head into the next
Those are
segment,
lovely
I would like to mention
pressages.
that we have created our very own Ultimate Watch Guide of Japan. This downloadable guide will include tons of watch stores spread across
Oh,
Japan
that is
our
helpful.
staff personally recommends. To get access to this, you must be a Patreon subscriber or make a one-time purchase from Patreon or Shopify. This guide is perfect for those who want all their information in one file. We'll also include a Notion link, which makes it easier to parse through the information, and the best of all, this guide will constantly be updated as time goes on.
Oh,
if you want to
excellent.
have access to this guide and also support the channel, please check the description down below. We took a lot of time to make this, and we would love to support your next trip to Japan.
Lovely. Well done. Alright. Tokyo Watch Hotspots. Looks like we're
For this
paying a
next
visit to
segment,
Nakano Broadway.
We'll go over two watch hotspots, Nakano Broadway and
Yeah.
Ginza. We actually already have guide videos for these, but if you don't feel like watching that, let me summarize it for you. Nakano Broadway is a must-visit
Thank you
for
for that.
serious watch collectors. This legendary mall is packed with nostalgia and watches of every type for an affordable price.
Yeah, I can confirm, having been through Nakano Broadway myself. Yes, this is what you can expect. These Grand Seikos, these prices, they're not cheap, but it's also not bad either. For probably the best engineered quartz watches in the world. Just hands down, bar none, best quartz watches. They make their own quartz crystals in-house. Everything is manufactured and assembled in-house. These are the sorts of watches that are made by the very best of the best watchmakers in Seiko. It's the best. And honestly, the fit and finish would put even Rolex to shame, in my view.
price. Now, it is true that a lot of the watch prices in Nakano Broadway have fluctuated over the years, but that's
Oh, look at that old chronograph. Amazing.
due to the demand and, well, the yen being pretty bad. But
Yes.
even if you spend a lot of money on a watch here, it is nearly impossible to find counterfeit watches. Everything here is genuine and you won't be scammed, unlike other parts of the world.
Yeah, that's also something that's a big consolation of shopping in Japan, is counterfeiting is not really a thing. If you were to go shopping in some place like Hong Kong, especially mainland China, and some other parts of the world, yeah, you might get scammed and get a fake. But here, you can rest assured that 99% of the time, you are dealing with a genuine article.
Let's go through some of the watch shops I would like to highlight. Fire Kids is one of our favorite stores in all of
I think I
Nakano
remember
Broadway,
Fire Kids.
especially if you are a JDM aficionado. Every watch in here is from 2005 and below, and you won't believe all the vintage Seikos that they have here. Most of them
Oh,
are overhauled,
amazing.
so even if it is a vintage watch, all, if not most of these watches are in working condition. Jack Road and Betty is the most
Wonderful.
iconic watch shop of Nakano Broadway. It's been here since the inception of
I
the
also
mall
remember this
opening
one.
up. This is perfect if you're looking for modern and vintage Swiss watches, but their Japanese watch selection is quite small in comparison. They definitely have the
Oh,
best
that's all
selection of
right.
watches in all of Nakano. Some of these watches are in such good condition that they honestly just belong in the museum.
That is incredible.
Some of these watches are in such good condition that they honestly just belong in the museum.
Especially some of these Rolex Daytonas. I mean, look at these things. These are some ultra rare versions that they've got in this display case. Commands a hefty price too. 63,800,000 yen. Let's do the currency conversion on that real quick, chat. Hang on. 63,800,000. Yeah, this Rolex Daytona here with all of the gold and all of the bling, that translates to $406,980 US, or just over £300,000 for that Rolex Daytona right there.
The second time I've had to reclaim my property from you.
It belongs in a museum.
So do you.
Cube Style and Nakano Vintage Mall is where you'll find the best deals in all of Nakano.
Oh,
However,
yeah. Oh, look at
treat
that
it
pocket
like the
watch.
flea market, as a lot of the watches in these two stores can be quite questionable. These stores don't really deal with expensive Swiss watches, and sometimes they are in such bad condition they are
Oh, dear.
considered undesirable. Cube Style is something I would recommend more than Nakano Vintage Mall, as a
Oh, these old style Seikos. Oh, these are from the 1960s. Amazing. 12,800 yen for this one right here. Absolutely classic design.
watches in these glass cases tend to have good selection of watches, especially the one facing the main hallway. And finally, I would like to highlight Tokizaemon, which is a store that needs more love as it holds
Look at that antique Seikosha wall clock. Ray, thank you for the hydrate and stretch redeems. Mm. That right there is a genuine collector's item. This one does indeed belong in a museum. That is gorgeous.
only Japanese brands. The overall vibe of this store is phenomenal, as they use old Edo period furniture which ties up the store aesthetic nicely. They also hold
Incredible.
Japan-made microbrands, which is not easily obtainable in Tokyo. The only catch is that this store is a bit of a walk away from the
Oh, it's an old King Seiko. Yeah, fun little bit of trivia chat. Before the Grand Seiko line debuted, they had a competing line of premium watches at Seiko called the King Seiko. And for a long time, they were in competition together. King Seiko fell by the wayside for a little while, but Grand Seiko remained.
Broadway itself, but Tokizaemon is a new watch store that we really wanted to showcase for you guys.
Glad you did. These are
While
gorgeous.
Nakano Broadway is more focused on vintage watches, Ginza is for people that love modern watches.
Latest and the
with
greatest.
a few vintage stores sprinkled in. If you already know what watches you want, the brands you like, chances are Ginza might be the place for you. Ginza is home to one of the most watch boutiques in the world.
at that
So
old
every
fair
brand
lady's
that you
head.
can think of pretty much have their own boutique with the best service you can experience.
Rolex, Richard Mille, Patek Philippe, Jaeger LeCoultre, Tudor, Breitling. Yeah? These are some primo brands, all right.
If it's your first time in Japan or you've never been to Ginza before, these are the stores that I would suggest. The first stop has to be the Wako building. You literally
Of
cannot miss this
course.
place as it is the clock tower right in the heart of Ginza. If you're ever
Yes.
planning on buying a Grand Seiko, this store might be the best place to do it as you can find models that are exclusive only to this store. Also, if you check out the second floor, it could be quite fun as it has a little museum where it tells you a little bit about Seiko's brand, and you can find a section where they sell Credor, which you don't really see in other retail.
Yeah. Credo is actually it is the rarest of rare Seikos. They are like, if Grand Seiko was supposed to be the flagship watches, Credo is the crown jewel. These are, usually you've got watchmakers with 20 plus years experience exclusively working on these specific watches. Super rare. They may only make probably not even 100, maybe a few dozen, or just a single batch of a dozen watches at most. And these are more expensive than a Rolex, a Breitling, any of those other primo Swiss brands that we saw. You know, we're talking about watches made out of, with gold casings, really intricate, complicated movements, going for as much as 5 or 6 figures in US dollars or British pounds sterling. Credo is actually most famous in recent years for a watch that they made called a Minute Repeater, which was a mechanical watch with a chiming functionality, sort of like how a wall clock or a grandfather clock would have chimes that would strike, you know, on the quarter hour, on the hour. Well, watchmakers figured out long ago how to miniaturize that sort of functionality and put that into a wristwatch. And Credo had one. I remember it had brown alligator leather strap, rose gold casing. It was a skeleton watch too, so the dial was transparent. You could see all of the gears and everything moving. And there was this little extra button, and you press it, and all of a sudden you hear this gentle little chime telling you what the hour was and the minutes as well. It was such an absolute work of art. And I think they only made like less than a dozen of those. Each of them was well over $100,000 US. All of them now, I mean, given the rarity, given that they've only gone up in value, I think they've become collector's items to the tune of well over $1 million. They're just absolutely incredible what Credo is able to put out there. Genuine works of art.
Stores. Right next to the building is the Seiko Dream Square. This space is dedicated for more of the casual Seiko fans. This is also a lot more affordable than what you'll find in the Wako building. Inside here, you'll find Seiko 5.
I think that's the remnants of the Seiko Museum when they relocated to Ginza. So you may still find some artifacts from the history of Seiko. I can't be 100% sure on that. But at one point, the Seiko Museum has had, as part of its traveling exhibit, a pendulum mechanism that would serve as the prototype for Big Ben in London. They still have it in their collection. And here's what's even more incredible, chat. It still works. Like, it was in working, functional order both times when I walked through the exhibit. On my first trip and also on my second trip. It's absolutely amazing. It's so simple. It was just this little prototype to figure out how to get the whole pendulum mechanism working and keep it going. And by Jove, it actually worked. And it still works to this day. And so if you get a chance, see it. And it's something you could, honestly, you could just stare at it for hours.
Seiko Prospex, and Astron, and of course, our main man, Shohei Ohtani, who haunts us in our dreams. Another little side quest
for
the...
Shohei Ohtani. He's one of the spokesmen for Seiko these days.
Those who love watches, especially Seiko watches, is the Seiko Museum. It's an absolute gem. Inside, you can learn about...
Oh, good. Okay, they preserved everything. Oh, look at... Oh, I remember this one, the Timetron. It was one of their first forays into digital watches. And honestly, it looks like an old Macintosh computer.
About the entire history of Japanese watchmaking. I cannot recommend this place enough.
Yes,
you might have to
go
reserve
there,
in
chat.
advance to get in, but it is definitely worth the time. Just know that
Go here. The Seiko Museum in Ginza. Go there, chat. You will not regret it. It is so... Even if you're not a watch enthusiast, it is just so much fun and so fascinating. You will have a good time. You will absolutely have a good time.
You won't be able to take home any of the watches in the museum. If you're not that big a fan of Seiko, we always have Citizen, and the Citizen flagship store located in Ginza is also very good. Unlike the Citizen store located in Ginza,
and Citizen has expanded in a similar way to Swatch Group. These brands that you see on the wall, Alpina, Arnold and Son, Bulova, Campanola, Frederic Constant, they are all part of the Citizen Group. They're all owned by Citizen.
is also very good. Unlike the Citizen stores that you'll find in department stores, you'll be able to find their entire lineup. The Eco Drive, the Citizen, Campanola, pieces that don't show up outside of Japan. I think a lot of people tend to think about Seiko when they first hear Japanese watches, but the Citizen flagship store is super worth it. It is such an amazing store that everyone should go check out. Give a little love to Citizen because they make great products. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on vintage watches.
Citizens are kind of underrated, really, because they're quite excellent watches. And that new Tsuyosa line that they've unveiled in recent years is just an absolute thing of beauty. They've even got their own competitor line to Grand Seiko called The Citizen. And it's, the dials are absolutely fascinating. They are made with a layer of washi paper. So very, very steeped in Japanese traditional crafts, even with their more premium watches. They're all quartz. So they're much like the Grand Seiko quartz line. Roughly the same price, maybe just a little bit cheaper, but stunningly beautiful watches.
watches in Ginza, as we already have a video dedicated to that, but let's mention these 3 watch shops. First off, you have Ginza Resin, which is a great spot to go to if you love pre-owned luxury watches. If you're interested in spending tons of money on these high-end Swiss brands, you can probably find a good deal in Ginza Resin. The selection here is incredible, and if you are willing to put down the money for these things, I highly recommend Ginza Resin. Anything in the higher echelon of watch collecting, this is pretty much a place to find the best deals. The next shop is called Shellman, which is kind of a legend on its own. They specialize in the real classics like 40s to 50s Rolex, Patek Philippe, you name it.
Oh my, those are rare finds. I mean, we're talking genuine collector's items.
Feels like an antique shop more than the watch shop, but it's incredible to see all these watches still in working condition. They also have their own watch brand that is only exclusive in Japan, so maybe
the Grand Complication. Oh, it's a moon phase. Those of you who don't know what that means, there's this little dial. You see it right here on each of these watches. It shows the various phases of the moon. So like half moon, waning gibbous, that sort of thing, full moon. It's this really slow rotating dial designed to track the phases of the moon. It even looks like, is that? Okay, yeah, it's showing the months of the year, the days of the week. Wow. Okay, so this is not just a moon phase watch. This is a perpetual calendar as well. So you have watches that have a date functionality. Usually it's just a simple date wheel. Changes up every 24 hours. You normally have to move it a day in advance whenever you encounter, you know, the month of February or a month where there's only 30 days rather than 31. There's also the day-date complication, which not only shows you the date of the month, but also the day of the week. And then, on top of that, you've got what's known as the perpetual calendar, which will not only show you the date, the day of the week, but also the month of the year. These are incredibly complicated watches that we're looking at here, chat, and an absolute feat of engineering. Honestly, I kind of want one. If I'm being honest, I would love to have one of these. Oh, this is so beautiful.
it might be a fun look through if you're curious on what kind of watches they make. If you're looking for something more nitty gritty like Nakano Broadway, I think Watch CTI is worth checking out. Watch CTI might be a little intimidating as it is a little bit out of the way from all the main stores in Ginza.
Yeah, it's basement level. Looks like it's in some sort of back alley somewhere. The whole vibe's a bit sus on the outside, but I'm sure on the inside it's rather nice.
Once you go down the dark staircase and open the door, you're met with
Seiko Laurel Alpinist.
a bunch of vintage Japanese watches that you most likely won't see anywhere else. I would suggest taking a look at their website before going to
King Seiko chronometers?
the store so you can understand what they deal with. I would say it's one of the best places if you love vintage JDM watches. One last tip about Ginza: if you're already hunting for a specific model online, don't just stop at Chrono24 or the big Japanese e-commerce sites. A lot of the time, those same watches are actually sitting in shops right here in Ginza. With a quick Google search, you can usually figure out which store is holding it, and then you can go buy it directly from the seller. It does take a little bit of work, but it is definitely worth it if you want that dream watch of yours.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Alright, segment 5, Hidden Gems. This should be good.
Before we head on to the next segment of the video, I just want to highlight some shops within Japan. Osaka isn't very known for vintage watches in general, and I feel like you'll have a better shot of finding deals in Tokyo. But if you love vintage watches as a whole, this shop is definitely one of the places that you should go to in Osaka. The people working here are extremely friendly and they know a lot about watches. Also, the store itself is pure.
Oh, that's neat. Look at that old Casio there. Couple of nice looking old Casios. Vintage Casio digital watches, those are always fun to look at and to collect, especially if they're in good working order.
Insanity. If you want a very unique experience and also maybe walk out with an interesting vintage watch, definitely go check out this shop.
Definitely put
Next
a lot
to
of work in
Osaka
that
is
moustache.
Kyoto. Kyoto also doesn't have much of a watch scene, but a new micro brand named Cool has been dominating
God,
the
he
micro
mentioned
brand
it.
scene here in Japan. The shop is located in a quiet area in Kyoto, and their watches
As you would
are
expect.
all inspired by vintage watches. When it comes to buying vintage watches, there's always a risk of these watches not working properly or having some sort of damage. But if you love the aesthetics behind old vintage watches, Cool might be the place to go. Not only that these watches
Yes.
are very affordable, it is an amazing gift or memento of your trip in Kyoto. There was
Definitely. And the prices are really not bad.
actually an announcement that Cool will be making their own store here in Tokyo in the future
Oh,
as well.
that's
So definitely try
fantastic.
to check that out if you're watching this video many months into the future. Lastly, one of my favorite watch shops in all of Tokyo is Mizutani Camera. Mizutani Camera is
I love the vibe of this place. Definitely got kind of old Showa era vibes. Sort of place kind of nestled off the beaten path. Away from the tourists that you kind of have to be in the know to know about.
located in Ueno Ameyokocho, a drinking street of the area. Ueno does actually have a lot of vintage watch stores, but this is the one that I would highlight from the rest. If you love King Seiko watches or even unusual Japanese watches that have never been released outside of Japan, this place is awesome. The general aesthetic of
Genuine
the store
hidden
remind me
gems.
of an older time in Tokyo, and the place is just awesome
Yeah.
overall, as the store owner is very knowledgeable and has a really good sense in collecting these pieces.
I love those sort of tank style watches that they've got. I'm sure those are Seikos and not Cartiers. Frankly, I think I'd rather have the Seiko than the Cartier.
If you love Japanese vintage, you honestly cannot miss this place. And
Oh, look at that old Tudor. Got some Rolex Submarinas. Amazing.
maybe in the future, we'll do a deep dive of this shop.
Honestly, if I ever were to buy a Rolex, I'd probably get one from a shop like this. Definitely would not buy new. I would buy an old one. I'd probably buy one from a reliable secondhand shop like one of these. Ah, the last minute bargains. Here we go.
So the final segment is for those who have decision paralysis and have left it to the final moment
no.
to purchase your dream watch. One thing that people tend to not mention is that you still have time to buy a watch before you leave the country. If we are going purely off of convenience and not pricing, I think the best bet will be some of the watch stores inside the major airports. For example,
That's
Haneda
true. You can still find some fairly decent deals and good duty-free shopping at Haneda or Narita Airport. In fact, I remember first time I was in a layover at Narita, they had a watch and electronics shop. I think it was called Akihabara. So definitely trying to capture the vibe and, sort of give people that micro experience of, well, you may be stuck in the airport and you want to go shop in Akihabara, but you can't, so we'll bring a little bit of Akihabara to you. And they did.
Airport Terminal 1 has a Wako store, which specializes in Seiko and other watches. Narita Airport Terminal 2 has a place called Move, which handles
Story of my
watches from all over
time.
the world. And the Kansai International Airport, which has a Grand Seiko pop-up in the terminal.
Oh, that is posh. Kansai Airport is in Osaka. That's really something when they can manage a Grand Seiko pop-up shop.
Terminal as well. But one place a lot of guides don't mention is outlet malls that are scattered all across Japan. A lot of these malls have Seiko and Citizen outlets, and there are always
Granberry Mitsui outlet. Okay, this one's new. I've never heard of this one.
sold in a very affordable price. These places are a little bit harder to access, and not a lot of tourists tend to go out there to find great watch deals.
That's okay. This is a place for the locals. Other places you might pay the gaijin markup. This place is priced. This is what the locals would pay for a good deal on watches.
But my recommendation for our outlet mall is the Granbury Park Mall, which is only a 30-minute train ride away from Haneda. So
That's not bad. Half an hour's train trip from Haneda, and you can get away from the gaijin markups and shop like a local. I like that. I would make that trip.
it's definitely worth going if you have the time and if you want to save a little bit of money. Well, you made it to the end of the video. I know it was a little bit on the longer side, but hopefully it gave you some useful info for finding your dream watch here in Japan. As I mentioned earlier, if you...
Oh, these are beautiful Seikos. It's a tank-style Seiko with an integrated bracelet. Lord Quartz from 1978. I like that. And it's got a day-date functionality. I like that even more.
like a condensed downloadable version of everything I covered in this video and some more, definitely check out our Patreon. And one more thing, if you're hunting for a specific watch, swing by our website, thejapanesefactory.com, and send us a custom request. We love to help track down the piece you're looking for. Thanks again for watching, and good luck on your watch hunting journey in Japan.
This was a really good video. This is really helpful. That is a very interesting watch. Nice ball. And a Bertucci. Bertucci field watch. Oh. That is a smart looking Seiko 5. And that Hamilton is not bad either. Oh. The Orient Komatsu. That is one of my favorites. I'd love to get one in blue. Or maybe the teal dial. I really don't know. Alright. We are subscribing to them. We've given them a like. And we are also going to drop the link in chat. This is fantastic content from the Japanese factory. Definitely go give them a follow. Watch some of their content. That's really good. I like that. Something so physical and so tangible about a watch on your wrist. In so many ways, yes, it's a tool that tells the time, but it can also be a bit of a statement, an expression of one's individual style. And speaking of style, really good video I've been wanting to watch with all of you.
The Man with the Golden Gun.
One of my favorite Bond films is The Man with the Golden Gun. It was One of those films where they really started to hit their stride with Roger Moore as the new James Bond. And some of the suits that he wore in that particular film absolutely look the business. This is For the Love of Suits. The title is Can Classic Style Last for 5 Decades? Roger Moore and the Man with the Golden Gun gives it a try. I think he pulls it off rather well. But I'll let you be the judge, chap.
The Man with the Golden Gun is Roger Moore's second Bond movie. And after the huge success of his first 007, this movie got an even bigger budget, which is great for us because the wardrobe is greatly expanded in this movie and we have a lot of suits to look at. And even though this movie is just over 50 years old, you can see some fabulous suits that are totally wearable today, underscoring the sentiment that style lasts longer than fashion. However, there's some fashionable items in there, including one
That safari jacket, I like that.
horrific jacket. Does anybody know what this check is?
That's not horrific. That actually looks really nice. Although I'd probably opt for maybe a smaller, thinner pattern. Something a bit more subtle. That one got a bit shouty, but it's nice.
I'll let you know later on in the video as we look at some fantastic suits and a couple of fashion disasters. Hi, I'm Michael, and welcome to my channel for the love of suits. I try to find inspiration on how to dress well from the best dressed men on the screen. Drop a new video every Wednesday and shorts throughout the week. And the first suit Roger Moore wears in this movie is the classic chalk stripe.
That is really nice, especially with this. That is a striped shirt. I always thought it was a standard white shirt, but it looks like it's got some sort of stripe or texture pattern to it. And this burgundy tie. Oh, amazing.
I love the chalk stripe. It's a fabulous suit I've covered in many times from Bond to Jeremy Irons. It's a casual alternative to the pinstripe and is so named for the obvious reason that it looks like tailor's chalk marks on fabric. But in this...
Honestly, you could wear it to a formal setting and nobody would bat an eye these days. That just shows you... Honestly, you would still be overdressed. You would probably still be overdressed. That's kind of how far we have fallen as a society.
In this case, we're looking at quite a light grey chalk stripe and a double-breasted suit at that. It's a very nice suit and they haven't gone too crazy on the lapels. It has peak lapels, of course. All double-breasted suits have peak lapels. This is quite...
Yes. Yeah, if you've got a double-breasted suit and it doesn't have peak lapels, you may need to get another double-breasted suit. Then again, double-breasted suits are not for everyone. So something like this would look fairly... It would still look good with a single breast.
A light grey chalk stripe. More typically, you will see a chalk stripe in a dark grey. You can also get navy chalk stripe, but the dark grey chalk stripe is the default. He's wearing it with a very nice white ribbed shirt, the collar of which looks like it could be gigantic. Thankfully, the jacket is quite rightfully covering over the tips of the shirt collar. Otherwise, I think the shirt might look a bit too dated. The ribbing in the white shirt echoes the chalk stripe of the suit
like
very nicely, so it goes very well together without interfering with each other because, of course, the stripes in the shirt are much narrower than the stripes on the jacket. And he's finished it off with a deep red tie. Double-breasted suits do wax and wane in popularity, but they're never out of style, so you should definitely feel confident buying a double-breasted suit if you're interested. I don't have a double-breasted suit at the moment, but I used to own one. Incidentally, if you're buying a double-breasted vest or a double-breasted jacket for a suit, you should know there's a little button on the inside to help you keep it fastened. And I think
good to know.
I think that is still a stand-up suit. You wouldn't need to make any alterations to it to wear it today. If you're enjoying this video so far, then please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notifications bell as well. It really matters. And if you're feeling generous, become a member. But don't forget to check out the comments section. We have a great community there. Bond's second suit here is a very nice marine blue. Although some people may feel it's a very typical business choice, and blue and grey suits can be quite boring. However, there are literally hundreds...
It's not boring, it's just understated. And it's absolutely timeless. Definitely one of my favourite suits from Man with the Golden Gun.
...of shades of blue and patterns to wear that you could literally have dozens of suits in your closet, all grey and all blue, and have none of them look anything like each other. Here we have a very nice marine blue suit, single-breasted, notched lapels.
Yes.
It could be seen as a business suit or quite a casual wear to a nightclub in the evening, depending on how you dress it up. Here he's wearing it with a pale blue.
These days, you wear this to even a formal function, you probably would be overdressed again. I like that tie too, especially this sort of light blue shirt. Really smart combination, all of this.
Blue shirt and a deep red satin tie. You could wear a darker blue shirt and no tie and head out for the evening wearing the same suit and look pretty cool. Choosing the right
Absolutely.
tone of blue is a very important choice depending on what message you want to send.
Looks like only one button on the cuffs. That particular detail is a bit dated. Most of the time when you buy a suit these days, you would expect to find 3 or 4 buttons on the cuffs. Cheaper suits, they will not be functional buttons. More expensive suits, they will.
And you guys are always pointing out, and I'm always complaining about collar gaps in movies. But as you can see, Roger Moore has class. He spots that collar gap immediately. Whenever you get up, do exactly that action to correct your jacket and don't walk around with a gaping collar gap.
Yeah,
And I'm
there
not
you
quite
go.
sure how many versions of this suit they made, as it is involved in quite a bit of action.
More than likely, he had maybe at least 2, probably 3, 4, even 5. Because, yeah, it'd be quite easy for something like that to get torn or have some sort of rip. I don't know if it's well constructed with quality material. It can probably take a beating and still look good. Maybe take it to the cleaners, though, for good measure.
Many Bond movies have had up to 20 versions of a suit made. And here we have a classic double-breasted sports coat, navy with brass buttons. The look, of course, referring back to Bond's naval background. It's a
Yes.
classic sports coat, and it's easy to match with absolutely anything and everything. Bond wears this
Yeah, a navy sports coat with gold buttons is fairly standard kit in men's suiting, men's formal wear, men's business attire. It's one of those staples that you absolutely must have. You can pair it with just about anything, with, you know, sort of khaki pair of trousers or grey trousers, you know, white or blue dress shirts, variety of different sorts of ties. It really works. It works really well. And it's just one of those things you absolutely must have in your wardrobe.
jacket twice in the movie, so we have 2 slightly different looks to go with it. In the first look, he's wearing it with a striped white shirt, a pale blue tie, and some dark navy trousers. A classic look that you could wear anywhere. Of course, it can be dressed down with jeans. You don't have to wear a necktie, and you could
Don't wear jeans with a suit jacket, Chad. Just don't. I know it looks cool. A lot of people do it. No. Don't do that.
even wear a sweater or a turtleneck underneath. Let's take a look at the second look Bond has in
Now
this
that you can
Still
do.
being quite formal and still being quite naval, he has on a white shirt and a rep tie, which is a military tie. In Bond's case, of course, it would be a naval tie because of his background. And he's got a pair of cream linen trousers to go with it. And this is where things get a little bit dicey. We're starting to see the 70s influence here with the safari jacket. I'm not a huge fan of safari jackets myself, but they're very popular and they can look good in certain circumstances.
Yeah, he's right. Yeah, it's not for everyone. Definitely was a 70s sort of thing. Stretched a little bit into the 80s. It really depends on the climate and what part of the world you're in. So if you're in a warmer climate, like I tend to stay in a mostly warm climate, stays warm most of the year, even sometimes just gets unbearably hot. A fairly thin broadcloth dress shirt and a safari jacket makes for a really good combination. Or even more simply, you could do safari shirts. Those have a lot of utility with the extra pockets. Still looks very sharp. You could probably even, wear that sans jacket and still look really smart going to dinner with family or friends or a date or something like that.
I'm not sure you should wear a tie with a safari jacket. I
That
think
might be a
these
bit
days
much,
they're
yeah.
certainly considered a more casual item. But he's wearing with a
Yes.
pair of dark brown
Yeah, definitely with safari jackets, safari shirts, a little more casual. It definitely falls into smart casual territory. But yeah, definitely seen the 70s influence here, especially with the lapels. I will say, to Bond's credit, it's not a leisure suit.
trousers and a dark brown tie to match, and a white shirt. And this version of the safari jacket has some very obvious pick stitching. That is decorative stitching around the edges of the jacket, particularly the lapels. This can work very well in some suits when it's subtle. Having pick stitching that stands out is a little bit tacky.
It's, yeah, that's the 70s showing through. So, not perfect, but yeah.
Safari jacket itself has so much going on already, with epaulettes and flat pockets with vents. You really don't need to add any other details to it. It's just going to make it look too fussy. Safari jackets,
I kind of like the epaulets though on the shoulders. I know they don't really serve any sort of functionality. I do like the look of it. You know, sort of harkening back to the whole military regimental look. I like that.
these days are a little more toned down than this one, and it works much better. It works great as a casual item, and as I say, I don't think it goes well with a necktie. I used to live in China and visit Hong Kong and Macau frequently, and I've been on the ferry and the jet foil, and it brings back memories. And here we have once again a very classic suit that has stood the test of time. Just a reminder, this film is 50 years old. If you had bought that suit back then and you still had it, you could wear it today. He's wearing a light grey sharkskin suit. That is a grey fabric with a thread.
Brilliant. Grey sharkskin. Chef's kiss. Fantastic. 10 out of 10. Get yourself a grey sharkskin suit, chat. If you're in the market for a new suit, maybe you need something for a job interview or for a new job, or maybe you just want to upgrade your look. A grey sharkskin suit. Can't go wrong with it.
Running vertically through it to give it some very interesting texture. While not as breathable as linen, silk feels very cool on the skin and is a very good choice for the heat.
Feels
a white shirt and a navy
luxurious.
tie on. We get a quick flash of the lining on this suit, and it looks like a fun, interesting one. One of the best things about getting
white shirt, navy tie. It's a color combination that they would revive multiple times with Bond. I think you would see Pierce Brosnan wear one in The World Is Not Enough. And then more recently, you would have seen Daniel Craig wear a similar suit and tie combination in No Time to Die.
custom-made suits is that you can choose excellent linings. Also, you will notice the hacking pockets on this jacket. They are slanted pockets at an angle. They instantly make a suit feel more casual and fun. So I'm guessing 1974 was the year of the double-breasted suit. This time a very interesting pinstripe dark olive double-breasted suit with peak lapels, of course. He has on a white shirt and an olive shantung silk necktie.
That's interesting. An olive suit. Rare color for the suit. Doesn't exactly work for everyone, but if you can make it work for yourself, by all means go for it.
Shantung is a slubby, unfinished silk with a lot of texture on it and makes it look very interesting. It's also a good way to dress down while still wearing a necktie.
And that's the important thing, is that you don't want those kind of shiny, satiny neckties that you see sold for cheap in some of the department stores. You want something with a bit of texture, especially if it's a solid color tie. So something with a little bit of texture to it, very subtle. That's perfect.
And the British spy headquarters in Hong Kong is beautifully fit on this sunken ship in the harbour. Everything inside is topsy-turvy and at an angle, and it's a great set. And well, you wouldn't want to run too fast with these shirt collars, you might just take off the ground. I'm not a fan of short sleeve shirts. I much prefer to either go with a t-shirt or a polo, or a shirt and roll up the sleeves. I always find the shirt a halfway house that doesn't quite work one way or the other. And the shirt has a square cut bottom, which is perfectly suitable for an untucked shirt. And he has matched it with a pair of flared cream trousers. This is one of the trendier outfits from 1974.
Yeah, flares don't really work anymore. If that's the one thing that I could change about that outfit, is get rid of the flare in the trousers.
so you definitely could not get away with wearing that today. The flared trousers and the shirt collar are just too much. That is why it's always important to stick with classic styles and classic dimensions. And where would we be in a Bond?
Yeah, because it looked good yesterday, it looks good today, and it'll look good tomorrow. Exactly right.
Movie without a tuxedo or a dinner jacket. Of course, it's double-breasted and a white one, which we've seen Bond wear many times. Both Sean Connery and Daniel Craig have worn white dinner jackets. But interestingly, this jacket is made from Dupioni silk and is quite a rough silk, very similar to the Shantung silk tie he had on earlier on. Quite a lot of texture going on for a dinner jacket. And here we have Bond back in a more casual suit, this time a classic pattern, a herringbone in charcoal grey. Once again, a suit I think you could get away with wearing today. Where these costumes let anyone down is usually in the shirts. Those giant 70s shirt collars are just too big to get away with today. However, the suits themselves definitely standing the test of time. He's wearing a white cotton shirt with a thin ticking stripe in light grey and a black satin silk tie. A lot of silk in Bond's wardrobe in this movie due to the Asian setting. And this
It makes sense. And it's comfortable. And to a certain extent, it's, I guess you could say it's breathable. A little bit. Not as much as, say, cotton or linen. But definitely feels luxurious. Yeah, but with that shirt there in the last shot, probably would have been better just opt for a standard crisp white dress shirt. Keep it simple.
This time a safari shirt rather than a safari jacket in sage green, matched with cream linen trousers.
That's really not a bad combination, especially if you're going to a really hot tropical climate. I would wear that.
The safari shirt itself a little dated. Cream linen trousers, very
I don't know.
Cream linen trousers. The safari shirt itself a little dated. Cream linen.
I think it would still work even today. I think you could make a case. Though you might, make the collar a bit shorter. Not as much flare out. But it would still work. But you would, as mentioned, it more suited to warmer climates. So places where it's going to be a hot summer, or, the Caribbean, or someplace in Central America, some places in Southeast Asia, like where they filmed, especially in summertime where it gets incredibly hot and humid. This sort of outfit would be perfect. And I think you would look quite stylish. If anything, you might even make a bit of a statement. In a good way.
Trousers, very suitable for the heat and easily matched with almost any shirt.
Yes.
Yikes. I promised to return to that absolutely outstandingly awful jacket. 1974, I guess, is a trend.
See, I'm going to disagree on that. I think the only thing that's really holding this back is the fact that the pattern itself is too big. It needs to be smaller, thinner. I think that's what held this one back. It's still a lovely pattern for the jacket. We need to just dial it down a lot to where it's much more subtle. Definitely more of the 70s showing through, but again, a smaller pattern, thinner lines, that would have been much better.
The single-breasted sports jacket, made from grey, red and black plaid checks. Never wear anything as loud as this. So I did a little bit of research where I can find out that this is actually...
Yeah, it is quite loud. That does need to be much more subtle. I think one of the chaps of the Suits of James Bond podcast and newsletter actually did find a really good tailor in Vietnam who was able to make a jacket similar to this, but with a much more subtle pattern. And it really looked sharp. I think it turned out really well. So I think that's the key. This is just a bit too shouty, but again, it was the 70s. Looks like bathroom tiles need to be smaller, yes. By the way, welcome in, Essen. Good to see you. How are you?
never wear anything as loud as this. So I did a little bit of research, but I can find out that this is actually known as a Texas check. And the last jacket we see Bond wearing here is a plain black jacket, which he stole from a dummy in Scaramanga's headquarters. Now, this Bond movie has been chock full of excellent suits. I can't remember reviewing so many clothes in one Bond movie since On Her Majesty's Secret Service. And I know some of you are probably going to complain, with a fabulous villain like Christopher Lee, how come I didn't cover his wardrobe as well? Perhaps I'll do another Bond villain video in the future, but I've done one already and you can check that out here. Thank you for watching to the end. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you next week for another video.
That's fantastic. Give that a like. Drop the link in chat for everybody. We will give For the Love of Suits a follow. Baliran, welcome in. How are you doing? So far, so good. We've taken a few drives through Japan, done a bit of watch shopping, and just got done looking at 50-year-old suits from a Bond film called The Man with the Golden Gun. Oh, no, you're fine, you're fine. There's always come and go with these sorts of things. Let's see, what else do we have to look at here? Here's something
I thought we were...
We sort of looked at this late last night off stream, but it's a good one. This is from Jacob Burrows. It's called Why is Physical Media Back? Don't know if anybody else has noticed that sort of phenomenon. A lot of people clamoring to have more physical media in an age where everything is just sort of streaming or in the cloud. Let's take a look. Let me... Oh, I need to share my screen. All right, there we are. Let me resize the Discord collab since it tends to auto-adjust. All right. Why is physical media back? 3, 2, 1, go.
I thought we were done with physical media. Like a hermit crab trading in its plastic shell, we all collectively shed our physical collections, trading them in for streaming libraries or very fast digital piracy. But now, new CD and cassette players are hitting the market for the first time in years. Vinyl is...
I would not trust some of those portable cassette players that are entering the market. Some of the research that I and others have done on the mechanisms of those portable cassette players, they're not very good. They're actually a rather cheap Chinese knockoff of something I think Sony or Toshiba or one of the Japanese companies came up with a long time ago, and they just figured out a way to make it cheaper and crappier and just never quite measured up with not just vinyl records but also cassettes. You have to contend with something called wow and flutter, and that's where the playback tends to be a little bit unstable to where it almost sounds like certain notes that are held for too long, they sound a bit wobbly, I think, if that makes any sense. Well, that's too much wow and flutter with a mechanism. And so tape or a needle across the vinyl is not traveling as smoothly as it should. And so with a lot of these, especially these new ones that have come out, yeah, they're just not very good. Not like, honestly, it would be better trying to find an old Walkman from Sony and just using that, because that would be better. The portable CD players, don't really have to worry about that because it's all digital. But yeah, definitely something to contend with these new portable cassette players that are coming out.
Is not just for hipsters anymore, and teenagers who have never rented a VHS tape in their goddamn life are thrifting copies of The Matrix on DVD and calling it vintage. So what on earth is going on? Well, the
As someone who was a teenager when The Matrix first came out, that makes me feel really old.
physical media movement has been going strong for years, and while I've always approved of it in theory, in practice, I've been pretty happy in my digital life. But after modding my iPod and digging up my old CDs, I've been feeling a certain itch, and finally, I've decided to take the plunge. Today, I'm revisiting 4 physical media formats because I want to figure out what this resurgence really means. What are we reclaiming when we pick up a record? What are we resisting when we hit play on a DVD? This is my journey into a world I thought I'd left behind. A story of culture, connection, and the surprisingly enduring power of stuff you can actually hold. Come along as we answer the question, why is physical media back?
Say again? Yes.
I love charity shops, I always have, and usually I'd go straight for the books, but lately I've been starting in a different section.
Guest is... Oh, goodness. Let me unmute Discord audio here. There we go. Sorry about that, chat.
Now is a good time to get back into CDs, mostly because of the price. And it's not all duds either. I found both MGMT and Dr. Dre in this very shop. You might not be able to thrift everything, but even actual record stores will sell CDs at a steal. This Arctic Monkeys album was important to me growing up. I think my band covered every single song, but back then I probably only ever heard it as a playlist of low-quality MP3s. Now I have it in lossless audio quality for £3. A lot of people on my last video asked why I didn't just pirate everything. Well, first of all, I do want CD level quality, which isn't always available online, but regardless, where's the joy in entering a name into a search bar? That doesn't feel like real collecting. I've been enjoying rooting around for old favorites. There's a high you get when you come across something you've been hoping for, or maybe something you've forgotten about.
What are you listening to?
I know Zach Braff memed his own music taste to death in Garden State, but him bringing weird CDs onto the set of Scrubs turned this into a compilation of non-stop early 2000s indie bangers. This is not something you'd stumble across on a streaming service. In fact, I tried to look it up on one, and most of the songs couldn't even be played. I haven't thought about the Scrubs soundtrack in a good while, and stumbling across it gave me an intense dopamine hit. I felt like I'd won the jackpot on a slot machine, and in terms of brain chemistry, that is exactly what happened. Hey Vika, you ready for a walk?
Very hipster about this.
I've had to get decent at dog training because this girl's got very sharp teeth. Yes, you do. Look at those beautiful gnashers.
You'd think the best way to reinforce a behavior would be to reward it every time. That's how Pavlov got his dogs to drool after all. And it is usually considered the best way to initiate a behavior. But once a habit is learned, the best way to maintain it is with a variable ratio of reinforcement, where the reward for your action only comes sometimes. Here. Yes! Oh my God, what a good girl. Break. Come on, let's go. Let's go, girl. Yeah! Yeah! What a good girl.
It's a video all by itself.
Forget it.
Man
This
plays
is
with dog.
equally true for dogs and
plays with dog.
humans. If you always get rewarded for a certain behavior, you might get tired of the reward. But if you only get rewarded sometimes, then the behavior itself becomes addictive. That is why it's so hard to put down TikTok. Not because every single video is fantastic, but because the next video might be fantastic. And you'll only know if you keep swiping.
real.
All major social media platforms use the same behavioral science to keep users addicted, and it's no coincidence that swiping a screen to refresh is similar to pulling the arm of a slot machine, because this is the exact same science that keeps people
VTuber
addicted to
spotted.
gambling.
Yay,
Turns
we live
out
in a
that with
dystopian
my
hellscape.
charity shop visits, I've accidentally created a gambling-like scenario, except without the damage to my mental health, or, with these prices, my bank account. I think this is the first big appeal of physical media. You get to
like
indulge in the
playing
act of
penny slots or
collecting,
something.
that addictive hunt for albums and artists. I started buying CDs just to rip them for my iPod, but over time I started to appreciate their physicality. I had forgotten the artistry that can go into the production of a good CD.
Oh, it's like a flip book. Nice.
This is
Album
probably the
artists.
best one I found, though.
Really
This
a
one
lost
comes with a
art.
poster, dear. What?
I've shied away from physical media for years because I have a tendency to clutter. But let's face it, I've already started going down this rabbit hole and I feel stupid owning all these CDs without a way to listen to them. So, if I'm going to actually understand the resurgence of physical media, I'm going to have to consume that media in the way it was originally intended. But I don't own a CD player. Not in this country, anyway. Which means one thing.
I'm going back to Sweden, and this time, I'm bringing a bigger bag. I told my partner I wouldn't bring back too much bullshit, but I was lying.
I'm sure she appreciates it.
At least he's honest about that.
If we judge the popularity of different music formats by revenue, then streaming, of course, has the largest slice of the pie. CDs at their height had an even stronger chokehold on the market, and they're now down to just 3%. But in 2023, there was reporting that CD sales were up once again. Side note, I wish I could sleep on airplanes.
I've been here before. I can't.
Okay, gotta mute that for trying to avoid a copyright strike here.
If this says historic, that's a long time ago someone wrote that, so let's have a look.
Analog talking books.
Wait. Yes. What's that?
Casio cassette player.
This is a very solid CD player now. Probably
No
still works.
Phillips.
Might be running off uranium or something, but it's so heavy compared to this one. But maybe that means it'll work. 4 batteries instead of the 2 in that one. Gotten a little bit spicy. Jesus. Oh, better pop something in there, see how we go.
Will it
Are
work?
those batteries
Everything's
leaking or
good.
something?
I'm gonna
'Cause he
play
seems
the
a little freaked that they were rolling his direction.
Yeah, I think they were. Not only are we dealing with somebody who probably has low T levels, but also, yeah, those batteries might have leaked out a little bit of acid over the years.
CD. It's doing it. Oh, it sounds bad. Okay, I touched the volume and it's better. Something is glap. Let's try it out on a walk.
I'm sorry, glap.
It's better. Something is glap.
Swedish word for a gap or a loose connection. All right, learn
So
something
it's
new.
like a fusion of the two words, sort of? Not really?
Yeah, sort of, not really.
Let's try it out on a walk.
Cows. Ah, yes. The old struggle. CD ends in the middle of your walk. to stop and swap out.
I have to admit that CDs aren't the first physical media format I've gotten back into. In fact, for years, me and my partner joked that we're the types of douchebags where eventually a record player would just appear in our home and we may as well stop fighting it. But vinyls have a distinct disadvantage against CDs in that they're not dirt cheap. Usually. This is Bragehall in Leksand.
Antique shop.
I mean, it really depends on where you go. Some places love overcharging for
You
that
can't
stuff,
talk
and
about the
others...
physical media resurgence without
Some places they keep the prices reasonable, but others they are acutely aware of what it is that they're selling, and they mark it up accordingly. Like anyone who gets their hands on an old Beatles album, you can bet they're going to charge up the ass for that.
I don't think there's a single person on this planet that doesn't know what they have when they have that.
Yeah. Especially, I'm told, the more valuable Beatles albums out there are ones that were printed and released in non-English speaking countries. So like old German or Japanese Beatles albums, or like something in Dutch.
talking about vinyl. While CD sales might have grown modestly in 2023, vinyl sales have grown consistently for 17 years.
Anyone who refuses to use girlfriend, husband, etc. is suspect in my book. Yeah, it's obvious that he's married to a woman, yet calls her his partner. Like, no, mate, that's your wife. That's not your partner. That's your wife. Okay, let's not be gay about it.
After giving way to cassettes in the 1980s, vinyl sales disappeared almost entirely for 2 decades before, in 2008, suddenly starting to grow, a fact often accredited to the rise of the hipster. Vinyl now makes up 8% of music revenue, more than any other physical music format, and its highest revenue share since 1988. I find the timing here very interesting.
It would seem that what he pointed out with album art, a lot of that got transferred over to new vinyl releases. A lot of them, obviously they play music, but so many of them are released as these sort of small works of art when you think about it.
MP3 players and smartphones were decimating CD
all
sales,
be gay.
and yet somehow vinyl came back. It suddenly thrived while other physical media formats evaporated, so we have to assume that vinyl records were able to provide something that digital downloads and music streaming could not. You've probably heard the term, "the medium is the message." It's the first chapter in Marshall McLuhan's 1964 hit book, Understanding Media, which he followed up with the confusingly titled "The Medium is the Massage" a few years later. McLuhan posits that societies have always been shaped more by the nature of the media by which men communicate than by the content of the communication. He describes the content as a distraction and says that the true message of any medium or technology is the change of scale or pace or pattern that it introduces into human affairs. For example,
I suppose there's some sort of truth or some sort of logic to that, yeah. Think of the days before the internet when if you wanted to, tap in any sort of source of knowledge, you either had to have a home set of encyclopedias or a library card. And that's what you had to utilize in order to do any sort of research on anything.
the introduction of the railway created completely new cities and new ways of life, and it did so regardless of what specific freight any particular train might be carrying. Similarly, if you lose your factory job due to increased automation, it doesn't really matter if the factory is churning out cornflakes or Cadillacs, you're still out of a job.
The customer is king.
To McLuhan, any technology has inherent effects based on its design, and the same expensive champagne will taste quite differently depending on if you're drinking it out of a fancy glass glass or a dirty shoe. And what is vinyl, if not a fancy glass? Vinyl is big and concrete, and I think that's why it took off around the same time as the abstract format that is music streaming. For decades, music formats got smaller and smaller in the name of convenience until finally they disappeared, replaced by MP3 players and then smartphones. But when we started being able to listen to any song in the world at will, eventually people found that there was something missing.
You're serious about crypto infrastructure.
Genuinely.
The first thing Spotify autoplayed was a crypto podcast.
We truly live in hell.
I can't believe this is what this app looks like now.
If the medium is the message, then music streaming has its own message, and it is this: music is not important. Streaming giants emphasize lean-back listening, they shuffle real artists out in favor of stock music, and they swindle musicians out of royalties whenever they can, all while tracking your every move and boasting to advertisers about how they can manipulate you. Vinyl records don't do any of that shit. It's not even that easy to skip tracks. It's an inconvenient format, and that is the point. I started this humble collection after visiting some friends, chatting all night, and taking
I think at the height of vinyl records being in circulation and being the sort of go-to for just listening to music in general, you had certain types of turntables that were taking a lot of inspiration from CD players. Technics in particular had a line of what were known as linear tracking turntables. So it didn't have like a tone arm. It had something that was kind of in this quartz-locked horizontal groove that would just sort of glide across the record as it was being played in this closed clamshell-like case. And it would do a quick scan before it started playing to find where all the gaps between the tracks were. And so you could work it almost like a CD player. Almost. It wasn't perfect. But for the most part, most people's record players were designed to where you just put the record down on the platter, drop the needle on the far corner, and it just works its way to the center and then stops. It was more of an event, an experience, something you genuinely have to stop and be present for in order to truly enjoy the listening experience. Anglo, welcome back. Hey Val, hi again Rex, just came back from doing house chores. Welcome back.
Hello, hello.
Taking turns picking records to play from their collection. I enjoyed flipping through their LPs, seeing where our tastes overlapped and finding interesting surprises. I saw albums I'd forgotten, now writ large and made important. It was a completely different experience from adding songs to a Spotify queue or even passing around an aux cord, which was the Spotify of my younger days. That night, I don't think I looked at my phone once, unless it was to research how much a record player cost. McLuhan would say that the sound cannot be separated from the method, and the physical experience of interacting with the record is part of the album. That is the second reason that physical media is in resurgence. It's bringing back the importance of the object itself, something that modern technology has replaced with convenience, yes, but also an undercurrent of unease.
Oh, one quick thing. I put a lot of time and work into making these videos, so if you get something out of them, please consider paying me for that work. If 1% of my viewers threw me a 5 spot once in a while, I would be able to keep making videos indefinitely, which quite frankly is not currently the case. You can donate on my Ko-fi page, and for the future I want to create something like Patreon but self-hosted. Either way, you can go to awesomepedia.org/support and it will redirect you to whatever the best place is to support me financially. And if you can't do that, don't worry about it. Maybe just share this video with a friend. That can also be very helpful.
Hello, we'll drop the link in chat afterwards.
This is a very dangerous place if you like old tech or physical media or you're a hoarder. So I've got all three of those problems.
There's one more format I need to explore before I hop on the plane back to Ireland, and it's one I thought I'd left far, far behind.
Right, look at all that. Alice in Wonderland.
You broke it.
I grew up surrounded by cassette tapes, literally because my dad recorded audiobooks, and while cassettes were no longer a new technology when I was growing up, they were still everywhere and dirt cheap like CDs are now, so it was a technology I used a lot.
Layers and layers and layers.
This
we didn't get our first CD player until probably approaching the mid-90s. Rest of the time, we just had to listen to vinyl records, and if we wanted to take the music with us, we had to use a dubbing deck, a dubbing tape deck, and get blank tapes and just record what we were listening to off the record player.
more than any is a format where I remember the imperfections. The hassle of carrying dozens of cassettes just to listen to one audiobook, the fact that you could often faintly hear the other side of the tape. I'll be honest, I did try buying some new cassettes for this video, and sure, I have footage of that, but it didn't make me feel much. No, my best cassette-related memories are the ones where I'm making things, and that, I think, was and is the magic of cassettes.
I bet you look good on the dance floor. We sound terrible. I love it.
Okay, gotta mute again. Try to avoid a copyright strike.
There's
I'm
so
sure
many
it's good
landmines
music.
in this video.
Yeah.
Scholar Paul Theberge wrote in 2001, when cassettes grew to prominence, they were the first recordable audio medium to have gained widespread acceptance among consumers in nearly a century, and they offered a form of potential empowerment to users that was unprecedented. There are whole subcultures and music genres that wouldn't exist without the humble cassette, and everyday users could suddenly record their own records or the radio, or just copy tapes and share them. The mixtape became a cultural phenomenon, and it's no wonder, because it was an entirely new way of interacting creatively with music that you love. As you might, this democratizing power freaked out record industry middlemen, and in the early 80s, the British phonographic industry launched a propaganda campaign with the slogan, "Home taping is killing music." This line here, "and it's illegal," was largely wishful thinking, and you might...
It's... You know what?
Why does that feel familiar?
I know, right? They were dickheads even back then, and they can still go fuck themselves.
Recognize the logo from the many times it's been parodied and made fun of over the years. Some governments kowtowed to the record industry and imposed levies on the sale of blank cassettes and recorders, but the tide of culture could not be stemmed. As the Dead Kennedys wrote on one of their cassettes, "Home taping is killing record industry profits. We left this side blank so you can help." By the way, here's a little hack you can engage in. Cassettes have a rudimentary form of write protection. If a tape has holes up here, you won't be able to record onto it, but a little piece of tape can easily fix that.
Oh yeah, that old trick. Used to do that all the time.
Now, if I get tired of lots of love, I can put anything I want on this cassette. Outside the wealthy global north, cassettes became even more important because pressing vinyl required upfront investment and specialized labor, but as Roger Wallace and Christer Malm wrote in Big...
You wouldn't download a car. Fun fact, that advertisement stole the font used in the quote. I can believe that.
Sounds from Small Peoples in 1984, the most isolated village can get its first cassette recorder before it has running water or mains electricity. Cassettes aren't the only format to embody these creative and democratizing powers, but they were the first. For decades, they gave people the power to capture and interact with media, whether that's my mother making a mixtape off the radio in the 80s, my brother playing Commodore 64 games in the 90s, or...
Yeah, that's right. Old Commodores, they had, and a lot of other computers in the 1980s, they had, instead of disk drives, they had tape drives. And you would put in a cassette, and that had an entire computer program, and it would just transfer via audio cable. It took forever to get something installed, but be it a software program or a game or whatever. But yeah, that was one of the lesser known parts of computing history.
Me in the year 2000 recording the entirety of Muppet Treasure Island for some reason. This is the third reason that physical media is coming back. It puts you in control of what you value and keep. It lets you use your taste and creativity to build a collection, and if you do it right, it's your life on a shelf. Or on a tape.
Oh, the Animatrix. I remember that one.
I've heard of it, but I've never actually listened to it.
Yeah, it was... I can't remember which anime studio did it. It was... yeah, I think it was between either 1 and 2, Matrix 1 and 2, or 2 and 3.
Yes!
I'll go ahead and look it up really quick.
I brought your ball to Sweden.
Animated version
it was
of
kind of
Matrix.
unintentional. There you go.
Bunch of short
Enjoy.
films.
I brought a yak back.
What the fuck is a yak back? Oh, so it does something your phone does, but worse. Of course you love it.
So I'm back in Ireland, and in many ways it feels like my physical media adventure is finished. I brought back a Walkman, the one I actually used back in the day, but turns out it's broken. And my CD player, well, I've enjoyed using it, but it guzzles up batteries and makes concerning noises.
There's no way that's a good sound.
I did mean to talk about DVD.
No, that does sound like it's on its last legs.
Mm.
And the battery life sounds about right. You really did not get a lot of battery life out of old CD players.
DVDs as well, but I've been seeing them in charity shops, and to be honest, I'm not that tempted. DVDs aren't even in HD resolution, and the standard has long since moved to 4K, so why would I bother to... Oh my god, is that Horatio Hornblower? This 1998 TV show stars Mr. Fantastic. No, not that one. No, not that one. No, not that one. That one. Hornblower follows the adventures of a British Royal Navy officer during the French Revolutionary and Napoleonic Wars. Horatio here is very much an imperial wonder boy, and this whole production has a tinge of propaganda to it, but by Jove is it entertaining.
God save the king! God save the king!
And while it's available on YouTube, I now own the highest quality version of this show that exists, even though it's just a DVD. Resolution isn't everything when it comes to quality. Equally important is the amount of data contained in each second of footage. Video streamers and digital pirates alike are incentivized to compress video files so they transfer smoothly, but each standard DVD contains over 4 gigabytes of data, so while the resolution might be lower, there's more information per pixel. But there's an even more important reason to pick up DVDs, especially of TV shows from the 90s and early 2000s, because these were generally produced in a 4:3 aspect ratio to match the TVs of the time. Nowadays, media rights holders will often crop these shows to match the widescreen format of today's TVs, and these are often the only versions you can find on streaming platforms. This absolutely infuriates me, and it should infuriate you. How you balance and compose your shot, these are key parts of the expression of the visual medium, and to me, this is the balance and compose your shot. These are key parts of
an episode of Seinfeld titled The Pothole, and
there's no pothole.
Netflix crops out the pothole.
Like, you could have brought the shot down at least a little bit. Like, there's plenty of space between the top of their heads and top.
That's no good.
The expression of the visual medium, and to me, this
okay, Simpsons
is
duff
the same as ripping random pages out of
Disney Plus cropped out the joke that all the beers from the same pipe. Huh. Pyon Lee, welcome in. Thank you for redeeming first. It's like old pan and scan from back in the day. Yeah, some of them did it better than others. I remember one that was really jarring on home video. It was like the an anniversary release of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and it was this sort of digital pan and scan that really, it was too smooth compared to what we were watching with the frame rate of film. It just looked really weird. And thank you for redeeming Not First, Pionly. Also, hello.
Of a book. As far as I can tell, this is the only way to watch Curb Your Enthusiasm in the original 4:3 format. It's a show I haven't really sunk my teeth into, so when I saw the first 2 seasons for less than €50, I figured now was the time. Now I just need something to play them on.
A DVD player. Working fine.
Define
excited
fine.
about the DVD player? Biga.
No.
You excited? You excited, Figs?
DVDs cannot be changed after the fact. They are solid, which is increasingly rare in this time of great uncertainty.
I need a book.
Technically, that is not true. Because there exist 2 different types of recordable DVD formats. You've got DVD-R, and then you've got DVD-RW. And the RW one stands for DVD rewritable, or something like that. But you could erase the data and record something new on it. I don't know how many times that would work, but that format did exist. Not a lot of people remember that.
Characterized by fleeting experiences and relationships. At least that's how Zygmunt Bauman describes our present era, which he refers to as liquid modernity. According to Bauman, this great uncertainty is the result of 20th century elites untying the economy from any political or ethical entanglements and letting market logic dominate not just the economy, but culture, morality, and identity as well. Bauman writes that solid social structures have melted, placing the burden of pattern weaving and the responsibility for failure on the individual's shoulders. If we get sick, it's because we weren't following a good enough health regime. If we stay unemployed, it's because we didn't try hard enough or we're simply lazy. Everywhere, we are encouraged to find biographical solutions to systemic problems, as if we can actually fix environmental damage by putting plastic in the green bin. As Bauman puts it, there is a nasty fly of impotence in the tasty ointment of freedom. What a quote! Bauman made this analysis in the early 2000s, and arguably, things have only gotten worse. Work has been shattered into gig work, which famously promises employees freedom while trapping them in deals that only get worse over time. And of course, films, music, and TV have all become content that we rent from corporate overlords who have the freedom to alter or remove any of it as they see fit.
Pray they do not alter it any further.
Yeah, really. Got a stack of DVD RWs on my dresser. Hang on to those, Essen. Those are probably collector's items now.
Thank you very much. Road trip.
Stylish.
Breaking Bad is one of my favorite TV shows, and while it's available elsewhere in much higher quality, this has something that streaming and digital piracy both lack.
You can't believe the hours and hours of meetings that go into doing something like this. You know, how do you...
Going to mute that just in case.
I was going to say, the man's just talking. Does that count as copyright? That's a man's head on a tortoise. Ah, yes, Breaking Bad. Watched it through once, not really.
Sort of locusts,
it's worth
and will
watching
only
through
care
once,
about
but-
Tiger King or whatever for as long as it takes to strip every morsel of flesh off Joe Exotic's bones. DVDs are the antidote to that. They can give works of art the weight and context that they deserve, and they provide autonomy over media, free from licensing, deletions, or algorithmic interference. And that is my fourth and final reason that physical media is coming back.
All right.
There's just one problem with DVDs. How do I stop buying them?
There's a reason I mentioned hoarding once or twice in this video.
It was worth it for the shot. He probably did it a couple times to get it right.
This is my mother's workshop. It's full of wonderful art that she's made over the years, and it's also full of a bunch of bullshit. If I sound judgmental, it's only because I'm exactly the same. Some years ago I came across an abandoned piano and decided I needed to take it home because maybe I could turn it into a shelf or something.
Oh shit, I really want to steal it.
One man's trash.
This will close.
It's still in my parents' basement.
It did not
I'm
close.
clearly part of the problem here, because inside me there are two wolves. One wants me to hoard CDs, the other wants me to hoard DVDs. I am a hoarder. Of course, hoarding and physical media can go hand in hand. I could even put it up on the board as another reason that physical media is back. Except, unlike the reasons I've already listed, hoarding is bad for you and bad for the media. Hoarding is accumulation to stave off anxiety, and when you see value in everything, it means you don't actually value anything. At the same time, I get it. When I see 5 DVDs for €1, I do want to buy all of the DVDs. So how can we balance this? Let me show you one last thing I found in my parents' house.
I have found the best way that I can balance that sort of thing. The things that I get on physical media are rare titles that I know will likely never see the light of day on streaming services. So certain niche old TV shows, certain films, I know I've got, like on DVD and Blu-ray, I've got some Metal Hero and Kamen Rider Tokusatsu type shows that saw like a very limited release on disc media, but I know they will never ever be streamed on any sort of streaming service. So I'll just snatch up the Blu-rays or the DVDs.
Rare
Of
gems.
these. Yeah, the rare gems. I do try to grab those on DVD or Blu-ray, but most of the things, if I know that they're, fairly popular and probably going to be on streaming services for years to come, yeah, I had no problem like letting go of old Star Trek box sets and whatnot, because I could just get Paramount Plus and stream them that way for a little while.
Here's an old CD tower. Don't think it'd
remember those.
fit in my bag though. Although, there's also this thing. The house I grew up in actually used to be a cinema and a community hall, a place where voting took place. And I'm pretty sure this is one of the boxes where the political parties would keep their voting cards in. Of course, nowadays those are made out of plastic, but not only is this solid wood, it's also made by a local carpentry shop. That would not happen today. Isn't this much nicer than a mass-produced plastic CD rack? I mean, I know it's not designed for it, but come on. Nice. I think most people would prefer an object like this that someone's put time and effort into crafting. And I don't think that's just a matter of quality.
You've definitely heard the term flow, or flow state, which was coined by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, but you're probably less familiar with another work that he co-authored, The Meaning of Things, a study on how we relate to objects in our home. The book is from 1981, but it feels strangely resonant today, especially the parts that talk about attention. Whether you want to reach for a cup of coffee or write a novel, you can only achieve your goals by directing your attention. So how we use our attention defines who we are. I think attention economy is too generous a term to describe the reality we find ourselves in. It's a system that thrives on distraction, addiction, and compulsion, all factors that disable our ability to construct our own identities. As they put it in The Meaning of Things, personhood depends on the ability to allocate one's psychic energy freely, an object that, when attended to,
There's a lot of people that are quite uncomfortable with the notion of getting alone with their own thoughts. Because when those moments happen, there's at least a fear that they're not going to like what they're hearing between their ears.
Inhibits the pursuit of goals is a hindrance to the development of the self, while things contribute to the cultivation of the self when they help create order. Thus, the material environment that surrounds us is rarely neutral. It either helps the forces of chaos that make life random and disorganized, or it helps to give purpose and direction to one's life. For now, I'm limiting myself to getting as many CDs as can fit in this old wooden box. After that, they can go back to the charity shop. I want to be deliberate with my attention. Otherwise, I know I'll end up surrounded by CDs that I never listen to. The DVDs are also getting problematic, but I have a different solution in mind for them. We've talked about CD, vinyl, cassettes, and DVD, and the reasons each have returned. But really, the 4 reasons I've outlined apply across all, and across many other archaic formats that people are picking back up again. Shoutouts to all the mini disc heads out there. Each of these formats will have aficionados that swear by them and who might rightly point out that I'm not doing everything to get the perfect sound. The players featured in this video.
Mini disc was a very interesting format. Miniaturized version of the CD with a magnetic layer to it. Didn't necessarily sound any better or worse than CD. It was just this sort of interesting competing format to the compact disc. And towards the end of its life, they introduced a format called NetMD, which allowed for, I think, 80 minutes of music on a single mini-disc. And on top of that, mini-disc players, oftentimes portable in nature, that could be hooked up via early USB to your computer, and you transfer songs similar to what you would do with an iPod. It was a really interesting format, but ultimately what held it back was the 80-minute song track limit. That was something that the iPod had everybody beat.
It's a shame, because it does seem like a neat piece of technology.
Oh, it was. I actually had a NetMD minidisc player for a short while. I loved it. But eventually, the iPod was everywhere. Everybody was using it. And it just, yeah, that was how you started getting your music. Plex servers are great. Yeah, I tried using a Plex server to store music and videos and things like that. For some reason, it wouldn't work. I don't know why.
It can be a little funky.
Yeah.
Video are not high-end devices, and really I've only dipped my toe into each of these ponds to understand their current day appeal firsthand. And the main thing this experiment has brought to light is what they all have in common. There's always a friction to using these older physical media formats, which stands in complete opposition to streaming services that provide such a smooth experience that you don't even need to choose what to play.
What's up? Your DJ X is here. Glad to be together for another day of music.
But streaming services also flatten us into
That hurts my heart seeing that. As somebody who spent 10 years in radio, and I don't even know if that's a real person. For all we know, that could be a completely digitized voice.
Odds are.
Oh, man.
How do I know you're not a digitized voice and I'm just sitting here talking to myself?
Meaning of life is 24.
It's 42.
Oh, 42. Sorry, you got the numbers scrambled. Hey, that's how you know I'm human. See, an AI would just look that up.
nothing but consumers,
Touché,
something
sir.
we recognize as inherently wrong, because we know there are real people out there, human beings who have dedicated their limited time on Earth to making you laugh or dance or think, and they put so much attention on the creation side, the least they deserve is a fraction of that effort on our end. Ritual is the word that comes to mind. Whether it's a dusty cassette or a scratched CD, the effort you put into playing a physical media format imbues that media with importance and meaning. Streaming is surface level interaction because it's designed by dorks and suits who don't think culture is important. But it is. It deserves pomp and circumstance. The telling of a story, the singing of a song, these are some of the oldest and...
Wait, what?
I'm convinced those dorks in suits just hate humanity.
Yeah. They hate humanity, they hate themselves, they hate everybody around them, they hate their lives. All because they just couldn't find themselves a decent therapist, and now we're all suffering.
Mm.
In the future, we will all have to use slurs to identify ourselves as human. I call it ver-in-ification.
Deepest ways for humans to connect. We've only been able to capture sound and video for a century and a half. We're still figuring out how these recordings fit into our lives. But if there's one thing that the return of physical media shows, it is this. Some things are worth holding on to, even if it takes some effort.
Oh yeah, always had to replace the belts after a while with these old tape players.
It's so tiny.
It is. A tiny little belt, and that's what drives so much of it. And he's having to do all that work just to replace a belt.
Shit. I've absolutely fucked this, haven't I?
Oh.
There is a
You can
light. It was set to FM, AM, now it's set to tape. There's gonna be one moment of truth here. Yeah, boy!
Oh yeah, he did it. Well done.
Chapter 1. Down the Rabbit Hole. Alice was beginning to get very tired of sitting
You
by
see
her
what I
sister
mean
on the
about wow
bank
and flutter?
and of having nothing to do. Once or twice she had peeped into the book her sister was reading, but it had no pictures or conversations in it. And what is the use of a book, thought Alice, without pictures or conversations? So she was considering in her own mind
in Analog
whether
Horror,
the
they like to
pleasure
use that
of
effect
making
a
a
lot.
daisy chain would be worth the
Dragon
trouble
sea
of
lions.
getting up
That's a
and
bit jarring,
picking
yeah.
the daisies, when suddenly a white rabbit with pink eyes ran close by her.
All right, link and chat for everybody. Let's see here. We'll save this.
Some people buy a sports car.
We'll save this one for another time. Let's do not this one. Okay. Valiran, my dear, question
Yes.
for you. Hypothetical.
Potential answer.
Let's say that you are sailing on a ferry cruise. You're off the coast of Japan, headed from one coastal city to another. Sounds like fairly relaxing journey, yeah?
Potentially, unless I get seasick.
There's always that sort of occupational hazard, yeah. Well, suppose you find out you're on a passenger ferry and there's no crew. How would you feel about it then?
I would be freaking the fuck out. if I got onto that ferry and we started out with passengers and crew and then there was nobody, I would assume I was in a horror movie.
Okay. Well, not sure if we're going to be watching a real-life horror film, but we are going to take a look at... This is from Itsuka, Japan, the world's first passenger ferry with no crew, a fully autonomous ship.
Okay, the context on that is a little bit different than what I had in mind.
Context does matter. The world's first truly autonomous sailing vessel here, chat. We're going to enjoy a ferry journey packed with the very latest in maritime technology.
I still would appreciate some crew on there in case something goes wrong with the automated features.
That's fair. Right, starting out in Okayama Prefecture. Filmed around Christmas time, so fairly recently. Right, Shin Okayama Port. That's what we're heading for. Those trains look absolutely cursed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's not Thomas, it's Chuggington. Yeah, Chuggington looks cursed. And he's everywhere in Okayama. Anyways, after about a 40-minute ride via bus, we arrive at New Okayama Port. What a charming place. And there's the ferry. This is the Olympia Dream Seto. The world's first autonomous ferry that operates without direct human control. So it's a self-driving boat, equipped with radar and sensors allowing it to monitor its surroundings and operate using an autonomous navigation system.
Looks like there is some crew on there.
Some crew, yeah. It's the first time in the world that a scheduled ferry carrying regular passengers is sailed autonomously. I think that's Neptune or Poseidon. That design goes hard. Alright, let's get tickets. Not very busy. I don't think we're going to encounter much of a queue here. Ferry route runs from New Okayama Port to Tenosho Port on Shirashima Island. The whole journey takes 1 hour 12 minutes. She's a lovely vessel. And like so many things in Japan, you purchase your tickets from a vending machine. Sports multiple languages, English, Chinese, Korean, Japanese, of course.
Wouldn't want to ruin the autonomous experience.
Right. One-way ticket, 1,200 yen, or about $7.66, or about £5.67. Maintaining ferry routes in Japan to around 400 inhabited remote islands has become quite a challenge as of late. There's declining passenger numbers, labour shortages, lack of crew members. 80% of maritime accidents are said to be caused by human error, which is why efforts to introduce autonomous navigation are underway. Oh god, they've got Chuggington on the ferry.
You can't escape from him.
All my nightmares. I mean, it just looks like a regular ferry. Interior stylish, rather high tech. The seat backs that look very comfortable. 4 decks on this ferry, up to 500 passenger capacity. Step outside and you have seagulls. Lots and lots of seagulls. It's one of Kagoshima Shrine. So this is a new ferry Operations began December 10th, 2025.
Oh, that's really recent.
Yeah, less than a month ago. So for safety reasons, they are keeping members of the development staff on board just in case something goes wrong. They also monitor the ferry remotely from land, and in an emergency, crew members are there. They can assume manual control.
Okay. I feel a lot better now.
Okay. Feels like a usual ferry ride. Design created by Eiji Mituka, known for JR Kyushu's Shinkansen trains and luxury train 7 Stars. It's quite the CV. Warm wooden interior. Those look comfy.
Quite a variety of patterns.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and there's a children's area too. Design concept is an amusement park sailing on the sea, ensuring passengers never get bored during the trip.
All I'm saying is a ball pit for the kids.
Yeah, you know, you just toss the kiddies in there. It's like, right, see you at the end. Bye-bye. I've had some relatives that is seriously what they have done with their children. They have left them in the children's area for the duration of a cruise. While they just went off and did their thing.
Oh yeah, sounds like they're quite fond of their children.
Ah, here's the slide that we saw earlier.
Hell yeah.
There's nobody around, so our camera lady has the place to herself. Sliding down, we're looking at the ocean. Here we go. Whee!
Whee!
Not bad. It's cold. No one else is up here. That means unlimited slides. Let's go. Surprisingly fast. A lot of fun. Oh, there's also swings.
Do you really need more motion when you're on a boat?
Maybe. Got singles and doubles. Seems rather relaxing. Oh, here's the mini train. A scale model of Chuggington. Actual train tracks on a ship. There's that cursed Chuggington. Only operates weekends and holidays.
Looks like the kids can get on.
Not running today, unfortunately. Apparently the waves are higher than usual, so they don't want to operate the train. Isn't someone supposed to be manning that?
Maybe they're below deck?
Oh, here's the bridge. It's roped off, and there is genuinely no one there. If you didn't know it was automated, that would be a bit frightening.
Yeah.
In the back you can see the autonomous navigation equipment. I'm expecting to introduce more of these ferries in the future. here's the onboard shop. They sell coffee, udon noodles, ice cream, local Okayama snacks. Are those like candied strawberries or something?
Thank you. Let's see. It's a strawberry milk. Because that Ichigo is strawberry and then Miruku, so milk. Can't really read the rest of that. It's a little far.
Yeah. So maybe like a strawberry yogurt snack. It almost looks like popcorn, like some sort of
Almost.
caramel corn. Maybe it's a strawberry flavoring.
Could be.
That's interesting. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, you'd think maybe it would be like a yogurt type thing, but it says milk specifically on there.
Huh.
Or maybe the flavor of popcorn is strawberry milk. I don't know.
Who knows? Pretty fancy coffee machine there. Let's see. Camera lady ordered kitsune udon and white peach squash.
Ooh.
It's a food court style system. Pick it up yourself whenever the little pocket bell thing rings. Surprisingly authentic udon for something made on board. It looks tasty.
It does look good.
Green onions, fish cakes, and chili powder. When you think of Okayama and Kagawa, udon is an absolute must. Looks like a refreshing drink too. Comes with 2 large pieces of fried tofu. Oh yeah. That looks very satisfying.
The noodles definitely look chewy. You can just tell through the screen.
Oh yes. Oh, okay, so that's the white peach squash drink, okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was going to be a drink.
Yeah. Next to the dish return area are vending machines and another shop. What do we have to choose from here? We've got Georgia coffee. It's like some green tea, Coca-Cola, Fanta grape, some oolong tea or milk tea, Real Gold. I think that's an energy drink. It's like apple juice for the children. More coffees. And Chuggington branded spring water.
I think I see some lemonade in there too.
They look so weird. It's like, why would you watch Chuggington when you've got Thomas and Friends? Like, go for the OG, man. Prices are halfway decent. Okay, that looks like they're crossing the halfway point. Some sort of power outlets throughout the ship. 3-prong power outlets too. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
It's not standard.
Yeah,
in
Japan has different outlets, don't they?
Yeah, typically they just have 2-prong outlets. Destination Shidoshima, a remote island in Kagawa Prefecture.
This looks like a scene out of Jurassic Park.
A little bit, yeah. Island has a coastline of 144 kilometers, famous for its olive cultivation. I do love olives. Task other than navigation still handled by human crew members. Sensible approach. Casting a line like that, I don't think I'd trust machines.
Not at this point, anyway.
No. Very easy
Sure,
for something
eventually
like
you'll
that.
get. Yeah. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure eventually technology can get to that point. As of right now, not so much.
Yeah, very easy for something like that to become a projectile and injure or kill someone.
Mm-hmm.
Very smooth docking experience. Ferries operate daily on the route from Tenosha Port to Shidoshima. They stay busy throughout the day.
Yeah, they do.
Right, time for a bit of sightseeing. Bus heading to Olive Park. Right on time, so our camera lady hopped right on.
Oh, I suppose the bus would be there. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Knowing when the ferry would arrive, it would make sense for the bus to be there.
Yes. Okay, so there's more of a Mediterranean climate here, hence the olive production. Low rainfall. 90% of Japan's domestically produced olives come from here. We've never tried olives from Japan. Shidoshima Olive Garden. Try the tour of Italy. When you come here, you're surrounded by olive trees. 2,000 olive trees, over 130 types of herbs grown here.
Wow.
It really is a full garden of sorts in Japan's backyard. Oh, that's lovely. A Greek-style windmill.
Yeah.
Symbol of the island itself. And there's the roadside station for Olive Park. They sell Shidoshima olive oil, olive-based cosmetics, local products, and seafoods. Roadside stops, for those of you who don't know, they're very similar to the American-style rest stops that you'll encounter on interstate highways, except the bathrooms are cleaner and they've got more than just a standard truck stop chain. You know, they've got these interesting local products for sale, and you know, it's better. It's not shit. It's so good they
Real
got
high
many
bar there.
No, not really. They get many overseas visitors from Hong Kong and China. Understandable. Probably not as of late, though. And the lady bought some olive lotion and olive oil as souvenirs. They make lovely gifts. They also have an olive soft serve ice cream.
And coffee?
Maybe.
No, that's what the sign said.
Soft serve uses powdered olive leaves. So it's not actual pulverized olives, it's more of a...
Yeah, look, there's the coffee.
Huh. Oh, and they also top it with olive oil.
I'm not sure how I feel about this. We'll have to take our cameraman at her word. Because it says olive soft and coffee.
Oh.
Soft being soft serve.
Yeah. Taste is surprisingly light and refreshing. Maybe a combination of savory and sweet? Salty and sweet? Aroma really comes through when you reach the olive oil portions. Even the post boxes are olive coloured. Oh, and, you know, if you're in the mood to fly in a magic broom, they've got those here.
That seems a little different, considering the vibe.
Yeah. Oh, so that's why. Shotoshima was a filming location for the live-action version of Kiki's Delivery Service.
Okay, that makes sense. I was just about to ask about the cat on the broom.
Take a photo, it looks like you're flying, just like Kiki.
I haven't watched that movie in forever.
Same.
This is before I even knew what Studio Ghibli was.
I think that was one of Phil Hartman's last roles as the cat. Right, time to head back to Okayama.
The little Olive character on that ferry looks so cute.
A return trip will also be on the Olympia Dream Seto. Seafaring jobs in Japan are often described as the 3 Ks: tough, dirty, and dangerous. In coastal shipping, 46% of crew members are over 50 years old, and labour shortage is only expected to worsen.
Yeah. Especially with the population crisis.
The term 3K was coined in 1989 during Japan's bubble economy. Negative images created by the media have also contributed to labour shortages in the maritime industry. That sounds like an opportunity, though, for enterprising, strong young Westerners. Onboard shop is closed on the return trip. That's sad.
Yeah.
But that's because there's fewer passengers. The Okayama Shotoshima route can be difficult to navigate due to shallow waters and obstacles, and also you've got crossing vessels like that one over there. Oh, there's Olive Chan. The autonomous system moves the ship almost as though a human were piloting it. Scenery, the people remain the same, but technological change advancing at an incredible pace. Now that would be nice. Gentle swinging as the sun sets.
Yeah, it's fascinating what happens when you insult and demean certain jobs. People tend to not want those jobs anymore, but they still have to be done.
Even though it's good, honest work. I mean, they're absolutely salt of the earth people doing it.
People just need to learn to stop being dicks to each other.
There's New Okayama Port coming into view. Hopefully we can come back here again and ride the mini train. And hopefully not have nightmares.
Yay, we lived!
We survived. Alright. Giving that a like. Dropping that in chat. Let's see what other fun things we can do together. Let's see. Let's do a Travel Geek one. This one starts off interesting. This one's titled, I found a futuristic and awesome hotel in Takayama, Japan, the Hotel Kure Takeso. And we're starting out with imagery that is not so futuristic. This is an old one. This is very traditional. August 2023. Chirakawago, Dogamachi Village in Gifu Prefecture. Historical area preserved as a World Heritage Site. Famous for traditional Japanese neighborhood with thatched roof houses. And quite deep in the mountains too. Despite its remote location, we get tourists from all over the world here.
Well, I mean, it's stunning.
Absolutely. Moving over to Takayama City for the hotel. Takes just under an hour from Shirakawa-go to Takayama by bus. And here we are in central Takayama. And there's the station. Instead, a unique hotel near the station.
Funny, that station near almost looks like an office building.
It does a bit, yeah. And here is our hotel. The Hotel Kure Takeso. Very futuristic architecture. Looks like something out of science fiction. Also looks a bit like condominiums.
I was gonna say.
I suppose they could always convert them over if they wanted to. Right, in we go. And to get to reception, we've got to take the lift to the second floor.
Well, what the hell is on the first floor then?
The entryway. It's sort of like that with the Centurion Hotel that I stayed at in Ikebukuro. You had to go up to the second floor to check in, and then there was, I think, a short little walkway. You could access the Denny's next door. But first floor was just the lifts. I think a small driveway for deliveries. And then the 7-Eleven next door. Let's see.
7-Eleven's important.
Yes, absolutely. For a lot of hotels, especially the bigger ones in Japan, Family Mart, Lawson, and 7-Eleven have sort of taken the place of their hotel gift shops. Which I think is a rather smart move.
Yeah, saves them the trouble of upkeep.
Yes. Let's see. Cameraman booked a Japanese-style Hollywood twin room. Cost just over 10,000 yen and about $72 US on Booking.com. To use the lift, you just scan your room key and tap your floor. If you stay for multiple days and don't need room cleaning, we will give you a free beer can or green tea bottle. Hell yeah. I remember they did something like that at the Prince Hotel in Sunshine City, where if you took a day or two and didn't have your room cleaned, they would give you a voucher. They'd give you a discount at the Family Mart on the ground floor. I love those. I think I actually got a free meal out of those once. I had enough of them. Which is not to say I did not have my room clean the entire time. I just went a couple of days without cleaning being done because it wasn't necessary. Whoop. Almost missed a stop.
Yeah.
The interior is like a green tea.
I can see that.
Yoroshiku no onegai shimasu, 902-san. Looks very much like a Western-style hotel, except for the table and chairs, though. That's quite Japanese style. They explain that it's a fusion of Japanese and Western style. I can see that.
Yep.
You do have to take his shoes off at the entrance like the Japanese.
I'm just sad that the table is a basic bitch table and not a kotatsu.
Beds have low legs like a Japanese-style hotel room where there's only futons. Well, they do have bed liners. Tables are low. No kotatsu spotted, unfortunately.
Maybe it would have been overkill.
Maybe. Though that would be a nice feature. Here's our unit bath. Very Western style here.
Looks nice.
Not too terribly cramped. Ah. Wash that included. Ah, and it's got a heated seat. And you are even provided instructions on how to use the shower curtain. Which, it's sad that anyone needs instructions on how to use a shower curtain, but here we are.
Here we are.
As it's not so common in Japan. Fairly common to me. Lots of Western style amenities. There's your deodorizing spray, shoehorn, brush. Free green tea. There's mini fridge. Room safe. Dimmer switches for the lights. Extra outlets. Oh my god, I loved green tea. I do too. Welcome to the hotel.
Very good.
Oh yes. Welcome to the Hotel Kuratakeso Takayama Ekimai. It is our great pleasure to serve you. Please relax and be free to ask anything you want while you're with us. Anything, eh? Looks like they've also got movies on demand. These videos are intended for adults only, 18 years of age or older. Do you agree? Cameraman, please be careful.
Go back. Don't do a cameraman.
He does not agree. Oh, hotel is a public bath. And you know how crowded it is by just looking at the monitor.
That's very convenient.
Yeah. Also a restaurant. The breakfast venue congestion situation.
It's closed.
Yeah. Interesting title, though. The breakfast venue congestion situation.
I think it may have been translated a little too literally.
Yeah. Let's check our views.
I think it's
here.
the point across, though.
No, there's the station. Oh, that's neat. Look at that. Great Way off Kanagawa.
Yeah.
A couple of other hotels there in the distance. Like some tower flats. And then you've got the mountains in the background. From the city, you can easily access several tourist attractions in the mountains like Shirakawa-go and Okuhida. And you can also watch the trains go by. So for you train otakus, this is the perfect hotel for you.
Indeed it is.
Most popular train to the station is the Limited Express Hida from Nagoya. Takes about 2 hours and 40 minutes. Go from point A to point B. It's the train our cameraman took. Bamboo Restaurant. Looks like we can drink beer as a welcome drink. And it's free! Don't available eating with slippers and pajamas. So, similar to no shirt, no shoes, no service. Self-serve service, one filling only.
Aw.
Right. It's Asahi Beer o'clock. Ooh, and a
Wait, how's there a happy hour if you're only allowed to have one?
Inflation?
Maybe it's not happy hour yet.
Yeah.
Inflation.
It's a very mild happy hour. There's also happy dinner. So you got happy hour and then you've got happy dinner. You get one free thing of curry from 1800 to 1900 hours. Or if they run out, then that's it. One dish per person.
Are they confusing happy hour with like a courtesy like meal and drink?
Maybe, or kind of conflating the two.
Maybe.
Oh, they've got Nika Black Whiskey. Those may not be for free, though.
I doubt it.
The curry and rice portion looks a bit small, but... cameraman reports it was good. Just one per customer, though.
For free.
Yeah. At 5:45 p.m. Sun's starting to go down. Let's take a walk to the old town of Takayama. Sort of transport you back in time with a bunch of old houses. An absolute must visit. And only a 10-minute walk from the hotel. This is Old Town. In the evening, people come here for a walk from a hotel. Whether it's our hotel or one of the other hotels nearby. street is very reminiscent of the Edo period of Japan.
So peaceful.
Yes. Streets start to fill up with tourists around noon, but later in the day, like this time of the early evening, much fewer people. Perfect time to go, especially with the sun setting like that. I bet you can get amazing shots. Lighting is perfect.
You'd probably want to be careful not to go too late, because a lot of places might be closed up by that point.
True. Right, our cameraman Googled on the vibes and found this place. Center for Hamburgers.
Burger.
A place where you can stop in and catch up with the best.
Oh, wow.
Why hamburgers, you might ask? Why not? Restaurant's got an exotic atmosphere. One can hear many foreign languages spoken here.
I know, maybe they're trying to bring in tourists.
Yeah, probably. Hey, hamburgers is a good way to do it. All burgers come with a domestic beef patty, mustard, mayonnaise, tomato, lettuce and onion. But they don't come with fries. Please order set menu.
Yeah, this menu was definitely designed with foreigners in mind. They have English over the Japanese.
Yeah. Oh, they've got an egg burger.
Ooh.
A burger with a fried egg. Avocado burger. A chili bean burger. Salsa burger. What our cameraman came for in particular is the Hida burger. For one person, 2,850 yen. No, but they do give you chips with it. Tomato and onion on the side. Centerfold's original burger that uses Hida beef. It's an expensive beef brand from the Hida area in Gifu Prefecture.
Yeah. And they only sell a certain amount per day.
We are the one and only hamburger restaurant located in the city. Our restaurant provides you with not only delicious burgers, but a cozy atmosphere perfect for taking in the rustic countryside. All to provide our customers with the best hamburger experience. Just take a bite. Let our gourmet burgers nourish your soul. Hamburgers since 2006. Hard to believe that was 20 years ago. I feel old.
Yeah. Ooh.
That's what close to $20 US will get you. It looks tasty.
That does look good.
Took around 15 minutes for this to prepare. I mean, that's not bad. There's your tomatoes and onions on the side. Diced rather than just a simple slice. Difficult to fit in your mouth, said the actress to the bishop.
Cameraman should probably put down the camera to have an easier time.
Impressive! Probably the best hamburger in cameraman's life, no lie. So he's basically
For
saying
$20.
Yeah.
I used the fork after all.
It kind of broke apart on him, but he ate the whole thing. For close to $20, he better. Washington Hotel Plaza. Washington Hotel Group actually has a lot of great properties throughout Japan. Right, it's bath time. Ooh, a public bath with a sauna. Researched. They've got lemon-infused water. All you can drink. And they've got a small manga library.
Very small.
It's like a tiny internet cafe.
I love those bookshelves so much. I tried to see if I could get one in the US, but it's just like I
Hard to
I
come
don't
by.
know. Well, they don't make them for the US, so I'd have to find a way to ship it from Japan here.
Great coffee in the lounge. And all you can drink tea. Well, one each.
I was gonna say, is it all you can drink if you're limited to one?
We'll just keep it a secret. Shh, nobody has to know.
I'll know, and that's enough.
We accidentally found massage chairs. 300 yen or $1.50 US for 15 minutes. And somebody left the shorts here.
Oh dear.
Heaven, this feels good. Help me, get me out of here.
Nope, you're stuck there, cameraman.
Not a bad price for premium malts, 330 yen. Really good beer. And extremely hard to come by outside of Japan. Let's see, there's Coke products, Strong Zero, Evian, Suntory Highball. Cool effects on the lighting there. Snoopy. Back to the room. Like they're showing the movie Up.
But blurred for copyright reasons.
Of course. Right, it's late. Time for sleeps.
Oh, Yasumi.
A few hours later. Breakfast! Buffet style, as you would expect in places like this. Mostly Japanese cuisine on offer at this one. Rice, miso soup, tofu, ginger grilled pork, more seafood, seaweed, sausages, potatoes, noodles, and bread.
Quite the variety.
Not bad for breakfast. Oh, they've got salmon. This is cooked rice with Hida beef.
Is that like a town specialty, you think?
Yeah, I think it's regional specialty of some kind. That's supposed to be scrambled eggs.
It is indeed.
Oh, that's trout. That's not salmon.
Could have fooled me.
Right?
Sweet and sour pork.
Ginger grilled pork sounds really good.
It does, doesn't it?
Oh, salmon in the salad. Okay.
So there was salmon in there somewhere.
Somewhere. Ah, and one more item. Oba miso yaki with Hida beef.
Is it being kept warm with a candle?
I think so. Beef, tofu, green onion, mushroom, miso, grilled Mahoba leaf, which is a regional dish.
It's fucking raw! What are you doing, cameraman?
He's eating it. He's hungry.
Sure is. Menu.
Take a look at that again. Lots of different varieties of sushi there. They look tasty. Alright. And it's time to leave. I love how he just snaps his fingers like that and instantly the bed's made. I wish
If
I had
only
that
cleaning were that
superpower.
easy.
I know, right? Overall, an awesome hotel. Ample free offers. Good value for money. And there's also a Mackey's right behind the hotel. And a bowling centre.
That's pretty neat.
$11 a.m. Definitely starting to see more people coming and going. Oh, you can also ride on a rickshaw.
I didn't realize that's what those were called.
Mm-hmm. They used to have a lot more of them decades ago. Japan, I think, also in places like Hong Kong.
There's a restaurant in that previous shot that sold steak and hamburgers.
My kind of place.
That's a neat fountain.
Yeah, I like that. There's our limited express train, the Hida. Take that to another destination. 2 hours to get over to Central Gifu. That's nearly a full train. Gorgeous. The model of this train, the HC-85, is a hybrid of diesel and electric power. But despite having a diesel engine, it accelerates like a normal electric train. Definitely won't get bored with any of these views. that's the end of the video.
Oh, so soon?
I know, right? Right, rock, scissors, paper.
Scissors.
1, 2, 3. Rock.
I lose.
Oh, that's alright, there's always next time. Okay, giving that a like. Dropping that in chat. And dinner has arrived, and I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a night because I do need to get a few things done before I head out for work tomorrow. But Valiran, thank you for joining me.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And thank you all for joining us here as well. Hopefully you had a relaxing, fun time. Just sort of vibing, chilling, enjoying some soothing gourmet video. And on that note, we shall find someone to raid. Let me see who's online. I think we've got one in particular that we could raid. Hopefully their settings allow me to raid. Take a look at one more thing here. Okay, yeah. Alright, so we'll go ahead and set up a raid over on Twitch. And we will go raid Neven. Let me get copy pasta up for everybody. There we go. Alright, thanks so much everybody for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a wonderful week ahead, the first full week of 2026. We're all believing for a good year this year. So, take care everybody. All the best. God bless. And good night.